So, welcome back to my stream. Today I will be streaming the final day of NA's arena competition. And on the third stage, we have our top four teams from the previous Blitz Cup, which is a little bit unsurprising to me. But just to kind of run through them again, in case anybody does not know who these players are, we'll go from top to bottom. We'll start with Origin, led by the team captain Tanner. We have Ferrari Peak. We have Crit and Call. We have Electronics, Archangel, Rob78, Bubba Vernon, Cora, Panzer, and a Whiskey Tango. And they will be facing Oblivion. And I guess I'll just run through Oblivion's roster since I'm here. Oblivion is led by Team Captain Ranger, who we were watching last night, N13, Dizzy, Gentleman, Akame, Even Steven 98, Miss Stickler, Gruxup, and Kujis. So next, they're gonna be facing each other, so Origin versus Oblivion, and then we're gonna be watching this team, Goy, which is the Apex team, which is led by Team Captain Blue. We have Asklad, who is Ferocity. We have Spanish Sahara, who I believe is an EU player. We have Market Man. We have Thorkel, which I'm not sure who this is. We take a look at their tournament history. They played on Origin in the previous Blitz Cup, but I just don't know whose account that is. I feel like this is probably like a shared account or something. This is a bit weird. But regardless, they're on Apex. They're playing for Apex, and I'm sure that they're a good player. We have Tizuzu, who is DJ. DJ, he's a longtime teammate of mine. He was on Jokers for quite a long time. I think we were together on this Joker team. Yeah, we were. And then probably what else is there? It's not loading the rest of his tournament history, which is a little strange, but I guess you can only go back so far. And then we have Power, we have Hagman, we have Sherman, we have Mongmanji, and the last team that we will be watching today is Joker. This is my former team. So Joker is led by Steel, Hafilupi. We have Player. This is Yarrow. We have Krish. We have Batpack. This is Vertuhan. We have Milo, Lakami, Reaction. We have Javi, and we have Kakadi. So I think any moment now, I'll get the invite to the room, and then we'll be watching the very first set, which is going to be Origin versus Oblivion. And I just want to make sure that my stream is working. I believe I should have gone live about now. Hopefully things are fine. All right. Oh yeah, wait. Okay, seems like my stream is working. Okay, so hello chat. What's up 34? What's up FW Billy? What's up Nobel? What's up Humberto? And what's up SJC? Thank you all for showing up pretty early. Let's hope we watch some pretty good games. I hope to give some good exciting commentary, and we'll see who comes out on top in this arena competition. I'm almost certain that this is going to be a very competitive set of matches, especially between, I'd say, Origin and Oblivion, and then probably Apex against Joker. So we will be watching Origin versus Oblivion. I'm gonna quickly ready up, and then I'm gonna leave the room because I don't want to leak up. I don't want to leak the lineups that each team might run because my delay is only about 3 minutes, and if say Origin or say Oblivion lock in their lineup very early, and somebody on like the opposing team is like watching my stream, they could potentially just like read the lineup and try to do some shenanigans. And I'm not about that. I'm all about fair play. So let's try to make sure that these guys have a fair chance at this game. I do not like rigging. And in the meantime, let's actually go through the strat sketch of Alpenstadt. So I'm gonna pull up the strat sketch real quick. We're gonna see it very, very soon. On. So here it is. So Alpenstadt, it's an interesting map. Oh, hold up. My strat sketch just got messed up. Okay, I think it's fine now. Okay, anyway, so Alpenstadt, I think it's I don't like the map, honestly. I feel like there's not many options that you can really run on Alpenstadt. So a couple of things that I've seen on Alpen is that if you play into town from North Spawn, so you say you play town, you're kind of just trapped here unless you try to like say like push through or rotate back. And rotating back is almost always going to be really difficult, especially if you're playing a really fast team that can somehow, if they try to play a bit split where they have like an unpushable hold set up on like BC, and then they have a light tank who's able to just go to A and just take the top of the map. Trying to rotate back through spawn from north spawn is just really difficult, just because this position is very easy to take if the majority of your team is committed towards the seaside or just in general the town area. And you can actually playing up in this position can actually get crossfire into town. So if you are playing south spawn and you see that the enemy team that you're facing on north spawn decides to just go town and just wants to sit on like, the town caps, you can easily break their hold just by taking better positions and just improving the the general map control that you have, because as soon as you take the top of the map on Alpenstadt, you just completely box in the enemy team into realistically just this sector of the map. I'd say like probably till here. I'd just say you just box them in into this entire area, and they can't really do much except for like maybe push forwards. But even if they push forwards, if you have a very strong hold setup in spawn, which is easy to do if you're very smart with setups, it is very frustrating to kind of play if you are the north spawn team, if you kind of get boxed in. And on the other side of things, what about playing like, meeting each team on A? So say south spawn team wants to go A, north spawn team wants to go A. It's a bit of I'd say, frustrating as well, just because on the north spawn, you have access to this top position, and you can also kind of cross tanks over. Although this crossing up top over here is very punishable, for I've gotten nuked probably like 3 or 4 times just trying to cross like this. And it's not fun, but at this level against at this with these teams that we're going to be watching today, Oblivion versus Origin, I'm almost certain that neither team is going to try to make a mistake. If anything, they're probably going to try to like pre-aim and see if they can punish a mistake where somebody tries to cross up top. But regardless, back to what I was saying about the map, you can kind of do a couple things just from north spawn. You can try to cap A, but the enemy team can set up a very, I'd say, a very hard like reset strategy where they have like a tank sitting back here just pre-aiming the right side, and then you have this TD bush that can pre-aim the left side. So both sides of the A cap are covered as long as you just have one guy here and then one guy here. But I'd say push options, especially through the river, are possible. We might even see a river play. And also I'd say maybe plays through Bs, like trying to fast cap B with like a lot of heavy tanks is a strategy that has been seen before, and I'm interested to see what these teams are going to do. So, just going back to Blitz now, because the games are about to start. So, just checking out the YouTube chat. WS says, "Why not with Jokers anymore? / this arena." I am retiring as a comp player, so I'm getting a bit busy with some IRL stuff, and I figured I kind of just want to like lay back and just stream, just not be a player anymore. And When I told the team that I was retiring, they were sad, but fortunately, it is a new chapter in my life.
Let's go!
So, let's fly high. Let's see where each team are going to go. We do see, on the side of Origin, we see G-Sor, 2 Concepts, 2 116s, a Felice, and an RHM. And Tanner's going to be going for an early spotting on the A side, and he does spot Mystickler going up to the very top position. I think he does get a good shot into Mystickler, but we do see many Oblivion tanks are driving towards the A gap, and they might be able to catch Rob on the crossing here. Rob does not eat any shots for it, so lucky for him that the Oblivion tanks were just a tad bit slow, and it does look like Origin are trying to go for a bit of a river play with Grit and Colin, Whiskey Tango, and they're going to find Dizzy, but it looks like Oblivion are going to take initiative and just try to pressure Lightronics, who's in this like top corner, but they've backed off from the push. They spotted the guys in the river, and it looks like these 116s in the river are going to try to divert for Dizzy on the ramp over here, and he is going to get pressured from both low ground and high ground by Cora and Grit and Colin, Whiskey Tango, but it looks like that they're just going to put themselves in massive crossfire, and even if Dizzy dies, as long as Oblivion are able to try to capitalize, try to bleed Origin a bit more and try to trade HP and trade damage for distance, this could be a bit of a fine situation, but unfortunately it just looks like Lightronics in his forwards position is able to just completely crossfire all the low ground Oblivion tanks, and Origin are up 2 tanks, 7 versus 5 right now. And even Steven looks like he's going to be next on the list, and Whiskey Tango is going to fall in his position in near the river, and it looks like Gentleman had to drop because he was going to get cooked out by Cora, and looks like this is going to be a very fast win for Origin. So I have to say, interesting river play where they actually were able to send Lightronics, who was in this top corner of the map right here by this rock. This position, I personally don't like the position because it is an easy push target, but unfortunately Oblivion, they backed off from the push, and I think they should have just committed for it. Just have Dizzy just waste 3 tanks' time and then just try to commit for the kill on Lightronics, but unfortunately Oblivion just backed off and they were scared to push that, even though they were set up for it. So a little bit unfortunate. 34 watt B. Thorkel is Luke on a bot account that Lightronics was using a couple of seasons ago. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense, but also almost certain that Luke has his own account, and just looking at the Oblivion damage spread, unfortunately they were just like kind of caught out. They were just all low ground, and they didn't commit to the push that would have given them a chance at some counterplay, because they would have traded a bit of HP, but they would have had the top position on A, and they would have been able to maybe crossfire out all the heavy tanks that are just sitting in the river, because that position that Lightronics is at, there is a bit of elevation, and you can maybe leverage your gun depression a bit to get shots into the tanks in the river, but unfortunately we do see you just do 1 shot of damage. Ranger, this is typical of him doing only a clip, and then Dizzy, despite being caught out first, he is able to put in an effective 2 shots, high rolling very much. So doing 1,000 damage with just 2 penetrations. But regardless, we are going to see Oblivion now on the south spawn. Let's see if they're going to try in a similar concept, but I don't think that they're going to do that. They have double mice, which I think is an interesting lineup. So we're going to see 2 Krons on the side of Origin. We're going to see 2 60 TPs, 2 116s, and a G-Sor. So this makes me want to think that Origin want to play towards the town, I believe. And with the double mouse lineup from Oblivion, I think they also want to go to town. So we might just see another just brawl. Instead of like the 2 teams meeting each other on the A side, they might just meet each other on the C side. So we'll see, we'll see. Right. So just gonna fly up high, and it does look like the TPs are driving towards the town. and it looks like Korra is gonna drive alone up on A, and I guess Korra's gonna try to anchor his tank at this house right here with the bush. There, the position where we saw Mysticular play in the previous game. And on the other side, we see Oblivion, and they're going to be playing very aggressive towards the seaside, and it's going to be a bit good for them because the concepts are going to be very strong hold down at the ditch, but it doesn't look like... Oh, it looks like they're going to shoot out the G-Sword on the crossing. The G-Sword eats one shell. He isn't going to cross that. If he is smart, he's not going to try to attempt to cross that, and now G-Sword is going to be stuck behind this rock until Oblivion decides to back up, but I don't know if Origin are going to keep up the vision, and Dizzy does get nuked massively. Well-placed shots from Lightronix and Rob into Dizzy. Dizzy now a one-shot, and Oblivion, they are in, I would say, a much worse situation because what's going to happen is that Korra and Tanner are going to slowly wrap around and take a bit of the map through the river and from the A side, and Oblivion, they're just going to slowly but surely get boxed, and they can't even rotate their medium out because he is bled out so much. So I think that if you are Oblivion, I think you should just try to push forward to try to get the kill on Lightronix and get the kill on the G-Sword. But unfortunately, it does look like the maneuver from Korra and Tanner is going to try to pinch out Gentleman, and Gentleman in the farm tank can't really do much against Korra, and Tanner is going to go for that push, go for that kill, and we're going to see Origin going to pick up a very early advantage, but we do see the mice and the concepts starting to move up on the left side of the map, group trying to pinch out the 60 TPs, and First Blood goes to Oblivion. They are able to pick up the G-Sword Archangel, but they are also going for Whiskey Tango, so this is actually, I'd say, really good for Oblivion. Whiskey Tango is going to die to group. Good play shot from him, and even Steven is going to chase Lightronix down the river, and we do see Mysticular in the mouse eating so much damage. He just got set on fire and he's dead. And now, just because of that focus fire from the side of Origin, I'd say that they're actually going to be in the advantage in this circumstance. Sure, or Oblivion are going to quickly trade out for Lightronix, but I would say just in terms of HP, Origin, they're a bit more consolidated together. They also... this is actually a bit tricky. Never mind, actually, about my assessment of who is winning this fight or not. And Crit and Call does put a very good shot into Ranger. Ranger is now a one-shot, as well as Dizzy, and Rob and Steven are going... Or, sorry, Steve and Kuchis are going to try to play onto Rob, but they need to work fast before Group in the Mouse is going to fall, followed by Ranger and Dizzy. Ranger is going to try to go for a bit of an angle on Tanner, but Tanner does get the pick on him. So it is now 4v4, HP to Origin. They're up 3,000 HP, and I think this is going to be an Origin win as long as Rob just buys enough time and wastes these two tanks in the rivers enough time. And Dizzy, on the other side, he got nuked at the start of the game, and he's still just sitting in the C corner. So, unfortunately, just that shootout at the start, well-placed shots by Lightronix and by Rob just completely nullified his impact as a meeting tank in this game. And I do feel like if Dizzy were a bit healthier, he could have maybe made a bit of a play. Maybe he could have helped with the push through the Origin spawn, where they pushed for the G-Sword, they pushed for Lightronix, and then they tried to kill the TP who backed up all the way, but a bit unfortunate that Dizzy did get shot out there, so... just checking up on YouTube chat, hello, is that Ian Gamer? And then Lines, I am not playing this season. Yes, that is correct. I am going to be streaming from now on. And we see Archangel doing a donut, but despite that, we have Rob, who did 5,000 damage. Well played from Rob. He was also, he put a very clutch shot into the WZ121 of Dizzy over here. So, I'll say, well played to you. Well played to you. So, in the meantime, I do want to swap back to the strat sketch. So, what happened on game 1 is that you had Origin that had a concept here. They did a 2-tank push through the middle, or through the river here. They had, I believe it was a light tank here. I think there was a heavy in town who YOLO'd past, and I forget exactly where the other two heavies were. I'm just gonna say maybe one of them was up here, and then the other... Not exactly sure. Maybe we'll keep him floating, say, like, in towns, kind of. Or maybe he was here. So, what happened was that Oblivion, on game 1, they had triple concepts that went up all the way up over here, and then they backed down for some reason. I think as soon as you just make this crossing, you should have just committed and just gone for the push on the isolated with Concept 1B, Lightronics, who was sitting at this rock, I feel like that was 100% a kill target for Oblivion, but unfortunately, they hesitated, they backed down, and then they were all just stuck on low ground while they had tanks who were just dying in, town. So you had Dizzy at this ramp who just got completely isolated, just got farmed out, and unfortunately, Oblivion weren't able to cover him particularly well, and I believe their set was maybe something like forget if they had tanks back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it looks like the next game is starting. So I'll get back to the strat sketch because I think that game is a bit interesting. And let's see if Oblivion can bring it back just a little bit. So we're gonna be seeing Lagoon. We do see ATP being played by Korokora. We see Archangel once again in the G-Sor, and we're gonna see both. So Archangel and Tanner in double G-Sor, and then we're gonna see 4 116s. On the other side, we see Oblivion, who are going to be playing towards the A side. We might see just a straight A brawl, and we do see Ranger playing a tank that we haven't seen at all, a VZ55, and I'm interested to see like what Ranger can do in the VZ55 because it's a bit of an interesting tank choice, and he might get shot up here. Ranger is just sitting a bit in the open, and Oblivion, or these Origin tanks are set up to shoot him, and Ranger loses over 1,400 damage. He's going to get shot up the rear by Korra. If Korra is able to drive just a little bit forwards, and it looks like Oblivion are able to spot Crit and Call and Lightronics on this side flank that they're doing, so I think Oblivion knows that they have an advantage in this wall in the corner, but they just need more tanks to go. And looks like Lightronics is already getting the off angle, and he's putting in good shots into the tanks in the A corner, and Rob is going forward to push on Ranger. He is going to kill Ranger as long as he hits his next shot, and it does look like Origin is just outballing Oblivion in this corner brawl, so Lightronics is getting a very strong angle for putting a good crossfire onto the tanks on A side. Well played from him, and it is 7v5. Even Steven fell quickly after Ranger, and Gentleman misses the kill shot on Rob, unfortunately, and Archangel in the G-Source is eating a lot of shots, but he is able to just stay safe and stay alive, so well played from him, and we are seeing a 6v3 now, so I gotta say, like, despite the fact that Origin had 2 tanks, it was Crit and Call and Lightronics. They were just doing a bit of an off-link in the lane below where Korra is. Despite just like 2 tanks completely out of the fight, Ranger just got completely nuked. His gun was a bit ineffective, and then you had 3 Oblivion tanks just sit in the A cap, but they weren't really aware, and Lightronics was able to just kind of flank to this position here and just shoot into the A cap and get really good shots into even Steven and into Group. So well played from Origin. They just outbrawled Oblivion, so GG's to them. And that was a very fast set, first set. And let's see if, or let me check this, the scoreboard on that actually. So we see, yeah. So the focus fire target, I'd say even Steven, he could have done maybe another clip of damage, but he did get focused out very quickly. Ranger, he was focused out, killed first, but he was still able to put at least 1 clips of damage. So, I gotta say, just a bit of out-positioning and also out-trading on the side of Origin. They were very fast on making that play with Lightronics, where he got the off angle on the Oblivion tanks on A. And let's see who we're going to be watching next. So we're going to see Origin, and it looks like the next match is undecided. So it seems that Joker and Apex, this set is still ongoing. So we'll see. If I had to guess, it'd probably be Joker versus Origin. If I had to guess, just because off of Apex's performance yesterday against 322. They were looking a little bit shaky. I was watching Megalion stream, and they were looking just a little bit shaky against 322. So unless they're bringing their A game, I expect Joker just to win that set, and then we'll be seeing a very classic match, Joker versus Origin. Anyways, let's go back to the strat sketch in the meantime. So, game 1, so Oblivion was on the North spawn, and they just got boxed. And one thing to consider is just like, I don't know the exact position of Oblivion's 7th tank, so just pretend that he's floating here for now. But I think this is the setup from Origin. And what happened was we saw these three concepts just drive up, but then they hesitated, then they drove back down. And just that bit of hesitation just completely lost momentum for them. They just boxed themselves in because what happened was then these two tanks and the tank in town were able to just pinch out and get the quick isolation and kill on the Oblivion tank on the ramp. So this guy just completely died for free. Not sure what's going on. So this guy dies for free. That is not a line. This guy dies for free, and then what happened afterwards is that these tanks were trying to look back for like shots on the guys in the river. So they were like trying to play like this and look for shots, which doesn't really make sense because you have two concept 1Bs who are just up here just crossfiring you. So Lightronix, he made the right play. He played a bit aggressive. He got free rear shots here, and then I think Rob was the other concept, and I think he could just shoot from the position that he's at like this. So this overall, Oblivion just boxed themselves in. They had momentum to make a very good push, but unfortunately, they just didn't commit to it. And I think if they committed to it, they would have been in a much better situation because as soon as they say kill the guy up top, so instead of you trade effectively one for one because you'll trade one concept for one guy on the ramp, and then these two tanks are a bit kind of just stuck in the river. And what you can do is you can actually just send this guy to drive back a bit, just buy time, and then this guy can also crossfire as well if he's in this position that where I have him placed. I don't remember exactly where he was, but let's just say he was here. And in this scenario, these three tanks are completely out of the main brawl, which would be over here. And even though this concept Rob could have maybe backed up and kited a bit just to give his light tank and the I think it was a G-Sor or a 60 TP or something over here a bit of crossfire, but Rob would have died because you have the Kron up top, so Rob can't even back up all the way. He'll maybe eat one or two shots if he backs up like this, but this is probably going to just get him killed really fast. So maybe it's best just to try like kite like this and to just buy enough time to try to drag these three tanks into like a massive crossfire. Or maybe just backing out straight away just to avoid or minimize the amount of shells that he eats from the Kron. So what I'm talking about is this Kron has this line of sight on Rob if he were to be pushed by the three tanks up top. But I think that would have just been a much better option for Oblivion rather than just sit, stop here, and then turn back. And then the next game, I think it was just a massive shootout on the side of Origin, and I think that the tanks that they had shooting were no, wrong color, wrong color. Uh, checking YouTube chat. Uh, my game sound is louder than my voice. Okay, yeah, I can change that. Don't worry. Okay, so I think my game sound should be a bit lower now. But anyways, back to my strat sketch. It was a 1-to-1 on the side of Oblivion who drove here, and in this very tiny opening, he got shot by two tanks. One of them was a 60 TP who was pre-aiming, and then I think the other one was shooting like this, I want to say. It was a two tank shootout, but the WZ lost over 1,000 HP, and I think he bled maybe one shot going into the C cap already. So just a great shootout from the side of Origin, and because of that shootout, the medium tank was just completely useless for the rest of the game. He can't run away because he's going to get shot and killed again. So his only move, realistically, is to just stay in the C corner, which is what we saw in the actual game. So, because the mobility element of Oblivion was just completely locked down out in C, just completely useless, we saw that on the other side of the map, we saw, let me put down the tanks. I believe it was not that, um, uh, not that symbol, heavy tanks. We saw Tanner play like this, and we saw Cora just immediately taking a spawn angle, and they were able to quickly isolate the 2 and 5B gentleman who was sitting in this opening to the river over here. And gentleman, maybe he should have been playing a bit further back as a 2 and 5B, just take like a wider angle. But either way, he would have just died very quickly because what Tanner would have done is he would have just gone to this rock and just cut off the entire or cut off majority of Oblivion from trying to rotate it back because as soon as Tanner moves up to, say, here, I'm just going to erase this green tank just to show what I'm talking about. As soon as he moves up here, he has sights on this crossing, and he also potentially has shots here as well. So effectively, just the way that Oblivion, or sorry, Origin was just setting up their tanks, they are just going to slowly kill Oblivion spawn, and they're also boxing in the enemy team into just this one sector of the map. So Oblivion was just really just boxed like this. And if you are Oblivion, the best play that you can make is push through into Origin spawn, which is exactly what they did. But Origin, they were anticipating this. So even though Lightronics, I think it was, or not Lightronics, is one of these two tanks, one of them died, but the other was just able to just drive back up into the river and just buy so much time for the Origin team to win this side of the map and then just slowly win their town brawl like through B and then the lane over here. So well played from Origin, just playing the angles, like doing a good job at doing a bit of map control and denying Oblivion options. And then on the next game, it was Lagoon. This was a bit of an interesting game because we saw once again Origin and Oblivion, they met each other head on. Every single one of these games that we saw, by the way, um, Origin and Oblivion, they met each other head on, but every single time, Origin just won the head on matchups. And I have to say, it's like a mix of one, out brawling, and then two, just better angles. So we saw on Lagoon, we saw it was 1, 2, 3, I believe. Saw 4, then 5, 6. And maybe there was another tank in the corner as well. So I'll say like 4 Origin tanks going to the corner, 1 guy playing like an intermediate position, and then 2 tanks playing for a bit of a flank potentially. But what we saw happen was that um, Lightronics immediately drove to this position here, while the other 116 drove in to reinforce the main brawl. And we saw on the other side, we saw Oblivion Ranger made a bit of a mistake. He drove kind of weird, very, very odd. So the exact pathing that he did was let me draw or let me get the arrow. So he drove like this. He got shot, nuked down to like like lost 1400 HP and then tried to hide behind the rock. But by the time he did that, his tank was just completely useless. And then he had 3 teammates try to back him up, try to play onto A for um, to make sure that nobody can try to cross, because if Origin tries to cross in front of 3, like, tanks, oh, that color should be red. So, if Origin in this, scenario tries to cross for the kill on, Ranger, they're going to get bombed by effectively 4 tanks looking at that crossfire. So, that was I would say it was a smart play from Oblivion, just, like, making sure, or not a smart play, I'd say a team play, just making sure that they're playing together and making sure that they're covering their, caller who was bled. But Lightronics, just taking his advanced position, is able to get a very quick off angle on the Oblivion tanks, and I believe that their exact setup was, or I'm gonna draw in the rest of the, Oblivion tanks that were set up like, I wanna say like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they kind of just got themselves boxed, just the positions that they were taking. Sure, they could have been a bit more aggressive, maybe on the top side of these 2 tanks, but Lightronics here needs to get suppressed either by this guy or maybe like take a 2v1. As soon as he goes for the off angle and he gets rear shots on the Oblivion tanks in the A cap, it is GG because you already have 1 tank Ranger who is already almost bled to death, but you're also going to lose another tank on A. And I think this is just a beautiful game of Origin just taking very smart angles and just out bleeding, out positioning Oblivion. So that was kind of my analysis of that set, and we're gonna check quickly in game to see if the next set has been announced. So I am back in game. Let's see what this is looking like. What? Origin versus Apex? What? No way, what? No way, how did Apex beat Joker? They 3-0 Joker, what? No way, what? What? Maybe I should have been watching this set. Okay, I take back everything I said about Apex earlier. Like I said, since they were struggling against 322, there's no way they stand a chance against Joker, but it looks like Joker is just throwing or something. What happened to them? Or maybe Apex is just playing very good, but the fact that both of these sets are 3-0, we're going to see a very spicy upper bracket set. And I'm interested to see what exactly is going to happen against Oblivion versus Joker. I feel like this is a scary matchup. I expected to see Origin versus Joker and then Oblivion versus the loser of Origin versus Joker, but I guess not. We're gonna just see either the first place team from last season or the third place team from last season go out fourth in this competition, which is kind of crazy. So Apex, well played for you guys. Well played. And there's a lot of, I'd say, a couple new names on Apex. So I don't think Spanish Sahara has ever played with Apex before. Neither has Mormong G. So well played to you guys. And we're gonna be watching that set in about 25 minutes or so. I didn't get an invite to the Oblivion, or not Oblivion, Oblivion Joker room, so I guess in the meantime, we could play some pubs. So I'm just gonna quickly swap over to my iPad because I am a mobile gamer. I do not like playing on PC for What B. All right. So let me go into a pub game. Hopefully we get a good game. I had a bit of a stinky session yesterday on stream. Fortunately, I couldn't win many games, but let's try to turn that around today. So we've got we got men in the light. Hopefully they just spot the middle. Very nice. I'm gonna try to put a blind shot into that bush. Unfortunately, my shell goes to Narnia, but there is something there. And unfortunately, my team isn't with me, and they are playing 6 tanks in front of me, so I do want to run away. Not taking this fight. And I might bleed a little bit for this. I think it's worth it as long as I can just try to sneak my way out. So by sneaking my way out, I mean I want to play under these tanks here. I'm going to try to pre-aim the Leopard. I have a feeling he's just going to peek at some point. Okay, never mind. Get tunnel vision. Poor awareness from me. It's okay. I should be pretty safe here. Even if, well, I need to start moving forwards, actually, because that guy looks like he wants to push me from the rear, so I do want to just make sure that I am not going to bleed to him. And exactly like I thought, he was pushing to the rear. And I don't want to make a bad peek, but at the same time, this is kind of hard to play out of. So I think what I need to do is I just need to drive forwards and try to push this BZ over here on the side. Is let those 3 tanks just go for my E5. I need to stop looking for these miracle shots. Just need to go drive forwards. Try to get my gun into the main brawl. And we need to kill this guy on the A-cap, this Caro. And unfortunately, I get mega trolled there. That was not cool at all. I'm just gonna drive past because it looks like the 116 is trying to go for my other teammate, and I do juke a shell. Making a bit of a bad rear poke, but I think it's fine. I should actually be able to cap the base as long as this guy's turret is a bit slow. Come on, cap the base, cap the base. Nice, very cool.
Enemy armor is damaged.
And I'm gonna drive a bit back like this, just so I don't get shot by those guys who are in the spawn over there. And I need to turn around and look for this Caro, because I think the 268 can kill the chieftain. And then... good. I need to play a bit safe here. And he can just pen me like butter, which is a little bit unfortunate. I don't think I can reload another shell, so I just need to pray that he bounces me. He's going to have to dump his last shell just to kill me. Yeah. And unfortunately my Rhino just... I mean, my Rhino is looking like low ground. There's not much he could have done. Watch LT says the concept, but there's no light tank. So I think we just win on caps as long as this Rhino just doesn't die. And I feel like this Caro, if he's smart, which I think he is, he's just going to be pretty... yeah. So, I mean, we should still win on caps. There's no way they'd drive to C in time. So I think it should be fine. So as long as this 268 just covers his C cap, we should be fine. Yep, thank God. A bit of a stinker game from me. I feel like I could have played a little bit better at the end against the Caro there. I peeked like a bit of like a monkey and gave him a free shot. If I didn't give him that shot, I would have survived. And fortunately, I didn't really get much progress for my gun mark because I didn't get any kills, but I was able to get a bunch of caps. And this guy, he had a nice game. He did 5k. But also the Caro is busted. They keep buffing that tank, and I just don't know why. It is like one of the easiest tanks to play, and I guess Wargaming just wants to keep buffing Clippers for some reason. Alright, so we have Castillo, we have the bad spawn. So I'm gonna try to play towards the med side. And unfortunately my T-22 wants to not... okay, well, we are griefing right now. Okay, yeah, no, this 23 just wants to grief a bit. Please let me up. Bro. Please tell me I can just climb over this and get to my position. So I don't like how our team is playing, where we're just completely abandoning the top side, especially this T-22. I feel like this T-22 should be playing where me and this concept are going to be playing. Because this T-22 is just, he's not going to be useful at all, and I need this concept to help me out over here on this side. Unfortunately, he wants to drive towards heavy side, which is pointless. There's nothing there. Well, I mean, there is something there. It's just not easy to kill unless you have an angle from where I'm going to be at. I'm going to hold my ground a bit. Wait for the Yo to spot something else. Yeah, okay. So he spots a couple tanks. Just get shot up for it. I wonder if I can sneak a shot into this guy. Unfortunately, the gun just dipped a little bit too low. I could stay up here and look for shots, but I also want to fight the Caro. So this guy will get spotted soon. I feel like I'm not being effective right now. Oh wait, this guy's giving me a shot. I'm just gonna pop my consumable, and I do get a good shot, but my concept, again, like, he drove all the way towards A and then drove immediately to the heavy side, so I'm just not sure what that play was from him. If he's with me and he's helping me, we could maybe have done something on our side over here. So I'm just gonna sit and wait, because honestly the Caro can push me for all I care. I'm just gonna sit up here and just wait. I want to put in crossfire, but it's just... I had a shell, but my gun was trolling. I was trolling. Alright, I'm gonna go fight this Caro now. I need to find out where he is. I have a feeling, though, just because of how my team hasn't been eating shells, like especially this Rhino. If the Rhino were getting shot at, I feel like the Karo would be playing up. He's probably near me. I'm just gonna put in the shot on that guy, and it's actually a VZ over here. So, VZ. I mean, I have a feeling I might get pushed soon. I'm just gonna preemptively back off a bit, just give a bit of ground on this side. And I hate playing like this, but it's just like, I know they have a Karo and they also have a VZ55, and they're both clippers, and this guy just puts a good shot into me, and he's just gonna pre-aim me for for the remaining bit of time. So a little bit annoying that I kind of got bled here, but I think it's a necessary position considering that this guy is just playing a bit like a rat, just sitting back, and I'm almost certain that the Karo is with him, so I can't really play aggressive on him whatsoever. And I'm just gonna sit here and wait for my team to try to win the other side. As long as this guy isn't looking at my teammates, they should be able to just steamroll and just, like, smash through that flank. And I need my, okay, my 183 is pre-aiming at least, like, towards this guy. So I'm actually gonna try to play a bit up again. And, okay, the Karo is AFK, so he does a 5k game, one game against me, and then the next game he's just AFK. Very cool. So I'm going to play a bit aggressive. I'm going to try to play on the outside lane, actually, of the Castilla, because I know that the 183 can presumably cover me. Presumably. Hopefully he does. And I do get spotted. I don't know where, though. How did I get spotted? What? Where is this VZ? There's no way. Where is this VZ, bro? How did I get spotted up here? How did I not spot him back if he spotted me? Okay, that's insane timing, I guess, but I'm just gonna go play aggressive now. I didn't know that the car was AFK. I thought he was just sitting in the back lane with the VZ, but I should have been a bit more aware. Alright, hopefully my teammates survive for me to make this flank. Just getting the kill because I want to win this game. And why is my VZ doing, or not, not the VZ, what is my T22 teammate doing? Like, you just completely just rammed into and made yourself a one-shot. I mean, more farm for me, I guess, but it's still just kind of lame. This T22 just threw away his tank for no reason. And of course, this guy can just pen me because he is better at the game. Thankfully, I do get a good shell. So he's on reload. I can just kill him with my next shell. This 183 will probably... Okay, no, this 183 got it. A bit of a stinky game, but oh well, what can I do? We have about 5 more minutes. I can fit in one more pub game. And let's try and make this a fast one. I want to play a bit more aggressive instead of just sitting back. But unfortunately, let's hope that I have teammates who are accommodating of an aggressive playstyle. Usually on NA, you just see like the dumbest things ever, just like tank sitting in spawn, meds camping, not helping you, and whenever you need like HP sharing, it just never happens. People just like leave you out to dry, leave you out to die. So this game, I want to go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the med side. Let's see if I can steamroll through the meds on the side. This AMX's crash out is a bit justified, I won't lie, but also, at the same time, if you're going to complain in chat and just be AFK, not moving, you are also a part of the problem. Like, you need to be actually playing the game and making an active effort to be a human being, be a normal person, normal teammate. So get a really good shot on that guy. Let's see where my team is. I'm gonna pressure up a bit because I don't think that. Yeah, they have guys flanking, so I am free to make a bit of an aggressive maneuver, but I just need to make sure that my team is with me, because this Marat is making the right move. He is trying to cover me when I go for a bit of a crossfire angle. And unfortunately, I get scammed there. Okay, maybe I could have done a better job aiming that in, but I feel like I just got scammed there. Instead of just wasting time, I'm just going to go in for an immediate flank. I need to try to get around this guy here. And, oh my god, that guy is annoying, but he's making the correct play for his team. Like, I need my team to go. Can you guys push, please? Hello? And I hope I don't get set on fire here. I hope I don't get set on fire here. I hope I don't get set on fire here. Please kill him. Please kill him. Okay. I'm fine. So I need to kill this this Marat. This Marat is going to be a massive issue for my team. Just because the way he was tunneling me earlier, I just know that he wants to potentially try to kill me. I do get a very good shot on him. I'm going to eat potentially 2 shells from this guy. Need to back up a bit, try to get safe. Okay, get a good shot to the Rhino. I do think this game would be a lot easier of a win if I got that one shot on the Marat, but unfortunately this gun just wanted to troll, which is a bit unfortunate.
Enemy is hit.
I need my Type 5 just to, or not Type 5, my Type 71 just to pen, which he does, thankfully. I'm gonna go try to cover my 50M. I want to pressure from the right side, but I know the Type is gonna get that angle very soon. So it's a little bit redundant for me to get another angle from where he's at. Okay, I'm gonna do something risky and repair my turret. Ooh, okay, no, this is bad. This is really bad. I need to get around this corner if I can. I went for a risky shot. I shouldn't have gone for that shot. I might die for this. I'm gonna die for this. Yeah, that was dumb. Bounce? Nah. That was a bit of a risky shot, but I wanted to go for it. So I'll exit. And I guess I'm going to switch back to PC, just because I don't think I'll have enough time for another pub game. Fortunately, I did get a little bit scammed with the KBZ gun. That's kind of something I don't like a lot about the KBZ. Like, people will say, like, oh, it's a better gun than, like, the TP, for instance. Like, one of my buddies who likes to blow up a lot told me that, and I agree that it is objectively a better gun than the TP, but it just feels still bad sometimes. Like that Sean DeLuise, I got scammed there. That should have been just like a free pen, free damage for me. Anyways, let's go back to PC. Okay, it's back. So let's see where we are right now. So this room should be up very shortly, and then this set, Oblivion versus Joker. I do want to see if the games are maybe over already. And I guess it's still ongoing, so it's been about 20 minutes since the start of that set, so let's see where they're at. I'm gonna keep, like, refreshing this back and forth a bit. Maybe we'll see the score update in game. But I would hope that this set is close, and I'm a little bit sad that I wasn't spectating this. Maybe I should have followed Joker, you know, just ex-Joker player, you know, retired Joker player streaming his old team, seeing, you know, how they're doing without him, but I didn't expect them to go down 3-0 to Apex. And now we're going to be seeing Middleburg. So, Middleburg, it's a good comp map. I do think that in terms of how you want to play Middleburg, you almost always want to be playing into the town. At least either grabbing the close town cap and trying to cover your tank capping it, and then playing a bit split and go for top. But Middleburg, it's like, you'll hear like the saying a lot in pubs, like, town is for clowns, and we lost that game somehow. Ugh. Ni hao, bro. How did we lose this game? Maybe this is why we just had a bunch of guys just not do any damage whatsoever. And I got scammed, like absolutely scammed. Like this Louis should have died. And this Marat was just tunneling me like crazy the entire game. A little bit annoying, but it is what it is. I am not scared to wear the Joker tag. So... oh. What the heck happened to my stream? Okay, wherever. It's back. So... Middleburg, let me go to my strat sketch once again. So, Middleburg, let me find this map. Generally, a lot of the time on Middleburg is that you'll see teams either play for all top on C and maybe go for like an early push, or they're going to try to go for a bit of a early safe cap where they have a lot of tanks set up in town, grab the A base, and make sure that this guy grabbing A doesn't get like full YOLO'd by like a 6-man or 7-man push through town. And then they back off a bit, and then they try to rotate and play for C. But usually you'll see a lot of play into town. It's either going to be split and you do play into town, or it's full town. Full C lineups are a bit riskier. I'd say it's less reliable as playing for town in Middleburg. Something that I will say is that these town caps aren't as safe as you actually think they'd be. So the B cap is actually very punishable. It's an easy push target. So for instance, say a tank is sitting in the B cap like this. If the enemy team up on the north spawn decides to send like 1 or 2 tanks just pushing down this lane, and then they have a bunch of other tanks maybe like sitting here or just even pushing through this lane as well, and maybe they have set up here in the spawn kind of, or the exact position is here. And I guess you could technically shoot it from here. But the idea is that if a tank is capping B and he sees 2 guys just yoling him in front, he's like, okay, I don't want to get shot by the guys in front of me. Let me back up. And as soon as you back up, you're going to eat shots from these guys, this guy, this guy. And then if you're like, okay, I don't want to get shot by the guys on my left and the guys on my right, let me just back up all the way out of town. And if you back up all the way like this, you are still going to get shot by these guys, but you're also getting shot by this guy. So it's a bit of a hard learned lesson. Like when I was new in comp, when I capped B for the first time and I got pushed like this, because I just died, like I just blew up immediately. And a lot of the time, teams, when they play for caps in Middleburg, especially on either the north or south spawn, they're going to have it set up to just prevent exactly this. Try to prevent at least one of these angles from becoming a crossfire angle. So usually you'll have like tanks maybe set up like here, here, or even just here as well, just to make sure that whoever is capping B is going to be well covered from at least one of their sides so that they can focus on just one group of tanks in front of them. All right, but we have about 30 seconds left. I think it's safe to check out the lineups. And we do see on the Apex side, we see Mouse, 4 Crons, and 2 TPs. So I think the Kronvon is a good tank, but something that I hate about Kronvon in NA comp is when teams just camp with Krons, because what they'll do is they'll go up on caps and then they'll just sit with like 3 Krons or 4 Krons just pre-aiming at like some rat angle. And it's a bit frustrating to play against, but as a streamer, I find just passive gameplay is generally very boring to watch. I want to see brawls, I want to see pushes, I want to see something like crazy. Because competitive is supposed to be exciting, but when you're just like playing super slow, you just have 3 crons just anchoring the same positions over and over again. It's a bit boring, and here we're gonna see Origin actually going for, and they're gonna be sending about 6 tanks up top. Panzer does get hit by one of the blind shots, so well-placed shot from the side of Apex, and it does look like Core's gonna try to anchor town, try to play into the ditch and try to reset A, but it doesn't look like Apex is really going to be playing into town other than Blue and the Mouse is going to grab the quick base of B. And we're going to see effectively a 6v6 up top, but I do want to note that the position that Tanner is at specifically, this is a very strong hold-down position. He is not going to really get punished unless Sherman or other Apex tanks are going to try to set up and put some very well-placed shots with heat. And Panzer in the IS-4 is going to go for the early cap on C. So if Apex doesn't reset this, what's going to happen is Cora is going to rotate probably one more tank down and then try to step onto the A base, and then Origin's going to be up on double caps, and they're going to force Apex to try to push into this like crazy cron like hold down setup. And it does look like Bubba, Vernon, and Panzer are going to try to maybe double step the C base and try to go for a grab on C, but it looks like Bubba backed off a bit, so both teams are just kind of slinging shots at each other. Well-placed shot from Market into Rob, so I'd say for now Apex is winning the trades in the meantime, and we do see Cora going for the play on A, but in the meantime, Blue is climbed up on the hill on the Mouse, and it looks like Apex is eventually going to push this, because Blue is not going to climb up on the hill for no reason. They are going to go for an isolation on at least one of these Origin heavies, but it looks like Tizuzu is going to this off angle alone, and he does put a well-placed shot into Rob, but Blue is now driving up. He is completely flanked Panzer, Bubba, Tanner, and Ferrari Peak, and he is going to buy quite a bit of time. Cora is clipping him from town, which is a really good angle from Origin, but this gives Apex a ton of initiative to just go for a push up top, and Archangel is tracked in the open. Permatrack, he is dead, and Blue is going to fall, but he is doing his job as the Mouse. He is wasting so much of Origin's time. Apex have completely taken the top of the map, and they're going to pick the kill on Rob, and unfortunately Tizuzu bleeds a ton of damage, and maybe this isn't as bad for Origin as I expected it to be. Apex just weren't able to leverage much from Blue in the Mouse, and Blue made an insanely game of play, but his team just didn't really capitalize on it. The timing on Apex's push was, I'd say, very poor. Blue was able to get up all the way to the top, but Apex, they weren't consolidated together. They still had, I think it was Sherman or one of the crons just in the back, maybe Pagman, just in the back, just not with the rest of the group, and so they weren't able to make a consolidated play onto Origin and just completely take their advantage because they had the Mouse soaking all the shots. And here we're gonna see a small 2v2 by Spanish Sahara and Pagman against Cora and Tanner, and we do see Tanner does get tracked. He is going to fall very soon, and Spanish Sahara is actually going to fall, but it is 4v4, and this might actually be potentially good for Apex. Actually, it's neck and neck right now, and it really depends on what happens in the spawn here. If Pagman is able to out-reload Cora and kill Cora, unfortunately he misses the shot. He should have taken just a bit more time just to aim that shot, just to keep his teammate alive. And up top we do see Ferrari Peak with 2000 HP. He is going to use his HP and try to pick up these 2 kills on the Apex tanks. So Marketman is trying his best to try to get away and just waste a bit of time, and well-placed shot by Pagman into Cora. He does finally pick up that kill, but Ferrari Peak, he has so much HP, I don't think the Crons, Sherman, and Marketman are going to be able to deal with him unless they are able to get a full reload off, and Marketman is rear peeking for some reason, trying to turn your tank the other way, and he might give Marketman, or he might give Ferrari Peak a potential kill, but this is a bit of an odd peek if you are a Marketman, because I would just try to peek the front of your tank, and now Ferrari Peak is going to just push you. And now Marketman is going to die. Well-placed track shot, actually, from Marketman. This game could go down to this interaction right here. If Marketman is able to survive, get out, he is going to eventually win this game for Apex. And looks like Ferrari Peak, despite having 2000 HP and despite having Marketman just rear peek him, Ferrari Peak just lost all his HP, and now he has a one-shot. So this is actually now a game for Apex. So despite the mistimed push up top, they were still able to break down the Origin position and eventually outbrawl Origin in the end game. So, well played to Sherman and Marketman, despite Marketman making a bit of a weird rear peak, which I thought was a mistake because he was giving Ferrari Peak just a bit of a shot, I'd say. Well played shot from Marketman just to seal the deal, and GG's. And in the chat, we see Dizzy say Oblivion lost 2-3 against Joker. I guess we suck. No, that's okay. No, you guys played good. It's just, you know, sometimes you have an off night. I think you guys weren't playing to your best against Origin, but it's okay. You live and you learn. So just go next. And then Blue, even though he did bottom damage, like one shot of damage, I'd say Blue made 100% the game-winning play. The rest of the team, though, just did not capitalize on it. The only person who was pushing at the exact same time as Blue pushing was Tizuzu. Tizuzu needed more tanks with him. He needed guys on the far right side to push, and he needed maybe 1 or 2 more Krons with him on the left side as he pushed the one hill. But just the timing was, again, a bit off from the Apex side. I do think this would have been a much more dominant victory if there was just maybe a bit of more consolidation, a bit of better management of the Krons and where they're supposed to be positioned, because Tizuzu shouldn't have been alone when he was like peeking that ridge forward a shot on Rob, because if he had maybe 1 or 2 guys with him, as well as 2 Krons on the far right side, they would have absolutely picked up 2 kills very, very quickly in succession against, I think it was Rob and then Archangel. Like, those 2 tanks would have died for sure if Apex timed their push a bit better. But instead, you saw Archangel died after a bit of time, and then Rob was able to survive for maybe like 20, 30 seconds longer. So we're going to see on Cell Spawn, Origin, they're going to be playing a couple of TPs. I don't think I saw them play TPs last game. They were mainly playing Krons, I think, and G-Swords. So we'll see if this 60 TP means that they're going to play maybe in town. But TP is a very flexible tank, so you could go like town, you could go top. We'll see what they are going to do. And very good spawn from Origin, where they have Tanner and Archangel just spawning up top. And even though like Blue and Marketman also spawned up top, the G-Sword could easily just grab the C-Cap very quickly. So let's see where exactly these Apex tanks are going to be going. And we do see what looks like 3 tanks from Apex's side are going towards the town, while Marketman and Blue are going to be setting up a bit of a passive hold up top, while also rotating 2 Krons up towards the top. So it looks like the G-Sword Archangel is going to be spawning at the very top of the hill, and Tanner's going to try to grab the quick C-Cap. And I don't think Marketman is going to have a great angled reset. He might have to peek very aggressively, but he's going to bleed a bit to Tanner. He does pull a very well-placed shot into Tanner, into probably Tanner's cheek. I forget exactly how to do the spectate on the other side. So I want to spectate, like, say, the blue side. I don't really know how to do that. Maybe it's like Control F and then F3. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so it's Control F3. So let's see where Tanner got penned. And I don't even see the penetration marker, so that is oh, never mind. It's into the side of the tank, but we see Tanner play into this bush very aggressively. He's just trying to probe for information. Maybe he'll spot like a tank or 2 trying to peek the top ridge, but right now he is just trying to get a bit more information, try to see how the Apex tanks are distributed. And then in the meantime, we do see effectively all 7 tanks on the side of Origin are just playing the top of the hill. So unfortunately, Apex, with the way that they are set up, they're probably not going to be able to spot all 7 of these Origin tanks, so they're probably hesitating quite a bit in town. So Askeladd in his TP in town is aiming towards B. He's anticipating like a potential B set because Origin is down on cap, so a logical maneuver from Origin is rotate 1 tank down low into B, and then cap the base to try to grab the cap advantage. And we do see, interestingly, this firing line that we have. So we have Tizuzu and we have Pagman, who are aiming down the lane, ready to shoot out whoever steps into B. And the reason why they are positioned at the base of the hill is that this is supposed to be a flexible position where they're able to put a shot into B and then rotate to the top of the hill should Origin tried to make a maneuver onto the top of the hill. So they're just going to be fast rotate while also being effective with getting a crossfire shot into the B cap. And I think that Origin, they're just spending quite a bit of time just sitting here. Maybe they're just trying to coordinate a game plan. Maybe they're trying to get a bit more information before going for a rotation. And we do see Cora go for the play onto B, but unfortunately it does look like the setup by Askeladd and Pac-Man didn't really work out too well, and Cora was able to step into B completely unscathed. And we see Tanner is bleeding 2 shots up top, but we do see 5 or 6 Origin tanks are just holding the top of the map. And if you are Apex, this is not a good hole to push into. And I'm certain that they know that, oh, Origin is playing so far up on top. Maybe Cora is alone in town, and they are going to go for the isolated kill on Cora. So we do see Tizuzu and Askeladd are going to go for a potential 2v2 on Cora. Maybe Tizuzu is going to try to step into B, but Origin are initiating now a push up top, and we do see the Krons and the 116s on the side of Apex are putting in very good crossfire into Ferrari Peak. Ferrari Peak is hesitating a little bit because he got shot out, and we do see Tanner is putting in very, Tanner does bleed a little bit to Sherman, and we see Pag and Sherman are going to take a bit of an off angle. And I think here, this is really bad for, Origin, I have to say. Even though they are going to get the kill on Blue, Tanner is going to be a kill, and after they kill Tanner, they're going to just YOLO the C cap, bomb the G sword, and then cap C. And even though Origin are winning the top side, where Market Man and Blue are gonna fall, as long as Apex are able to pressure out the G sword and stop the C base while also stopping B with Askeladd, this is not a terrible situation for them to be in. Spanish Sahara just needs to buy enough time, waste enough of Origin's tank's time, just try to drive out. And now, if we look at the caps, Apex is on all 3 bases. They're stopping all 3 bases, and they have a kill lined up potentially on maybe the Skronvon. Pac-Man needs to do a better job at trying to back out, try to survive, and we do see Rob go for a bit of a gamer play. He's trying to block Pac-Man, but he's getting himself completely bombed. And Tizuzu doing a good job getting in front of Rob's gun, try to HP center for Pag and stop Rob from getting into C-cap, and that is a cap win for Apex. Well played, well played. So unfortunately, like Apex, I think they had a good setup, a very good setup, where they had tanks pre-aiming the entry into B, but unfortunately, Cora just got into the B cap completely unpunished. Maybe it was like a bit of pathing or RNG from the side of Apex, where their shots just didn't like pen. Or maybe Cora was just really smart with the pathing, where he was able to sneak into the B cap without giving them an easy shot. And then on top, when Origin tried to initiate the push, Blue was in a very strong position, just wasting enough time. And even though Origin were able to pick up the kill on Blue and Market Man, they just lost control of the caps because Cora died in town, and Askeladd, who was a low HP 60 TP in that brawl, went to cap B, while his teammate Tizuzu decided to drive up to the C brawl. And by the time that Origin realized, oh, we're down in caps, we need to try to get kills, Spanish Sahara was already at the base of the hill. He was pretty much safe, and all the tanks that were like shooting at him had already clipped out, so Spanish Sahara isn't a kill target anymore. The Origin tanks up top have to play for C, but by the time they play for C, they're trying to fight against very healthy 116s, so Pac-Man was focused for a target, but he quickly got help from DJ by Sherman, I think, who had HP to share for him. And quick 2-0 victory for the side of Apex. I like how they're playing, and we're going to see a very interesting game, I believe. A lot of concepts on both sides, and maybe we'll see like a crazy like nuke or a crazy like shootout happen. Let's see what happens. Origin, whenever they play Desert Sands, they really like putting blind fires in the crossing, or maybe they just like spawning the crossing and putting in blind shots, but they don't have a light tank in this game, so maybe they'll go for like a blind shootout on the crossing. It would be interesting to see if they like land all their shots, because they're pretty good at it, and it's something that was a little scary as a Joker player facing against Origin. Just like all the blind shots that they'd be able to hit, and we don't see them go for the shots, and we do see Panzer does eat one shot blind. Apex are going for the blind shots, so good initiative from Apex, and Pac-Man is probably going to spot Ferrari Peak. Drive down. Ferrari Peak puts a really good shot. Pac-Man might get another shell. He does not. Cora is holding back a bit, so Ferrari Peak is playing through the mid, trying to cut off, or trying to spot anything at the rails, get enough information for Origin. And Asphalite into G-Sword is spotted. He's getting clipped out by Cora, so this is early advantage for Origin, I have to say. They have the plane, they have good bleeds on Asphalite, and Pac-Man is trying to make a bit of counterplay through the middle, but unfortunately, he's just going to make himself a bit of a kill because Cora and Ferrari Peak are just going to 2v1 him on this side, and on the other side, we're going to see a massive brawl on the plane side, but it's an even fight. It's 5v5, and Origin have the positional advantage, and they've completely bombed Sherman, but Sherman is going to back out. He's going to be safe, and Blue is looking for the crossfire on Rob. Well played from Blue, but Blue is also going to maybe get the kill on Tanner, and it looks like Apex are going to win the plane side, so even if Blue dies, Apex is going to just completely bomb the plane, and even though Pac-Man, despite going into a 1v2 situation, was able to somehow get his way out of it. He finessed both Ferrari Peak and Cora, and now he's going to completely kite Ferrari Peak out of the fight, take this 1v1, make him completely useless. And now Asphalite, all Asphalite has to do is just drive in and get some good crossfire onto the rear of these Origin tanks trying to repush, and this should be a win for Apex. I really liked how they played, except for like the weird play in the middle by Pac-Man. He kind of like made himself a kill target, but by doing so, I guess he maybe made, well, I'm not sure if any tanks at the plane were staring at Pac-Man when he did that, but Apex were somehow able to 5v5 Origin on the plane despite Origin having a tank at the wing of the plane, or at the tail end of the plane. This is a very strong hold-down position where Tanner was at, and it's hard to dig that tank out, but I guess Apex, they weren't scared, they just pushed, and it worked out for them. So we're going to see Apex in their first ever grand finals. I unironically think this is the first time Apex has ever made grand finals, and I'm all for it. This is exciting to see. So GG's, well played to Apex. You guys are undefeated today. You guys are on a roll. Keep it up, man. And looking at the damage spread, like a lot of these low HP, like or low damage scores from Origin side, a lot of them were from the plane brawl, so they just died very quickly. So Apex just did a better job at focus firing. And we're gonna see a very interesting set. Usually you'll see Joker versus Origin in the grand finals, but now we're actually seeing Joker versus Origin in the lower brackets, so nice change of pace, nice change of pace. And we're gonna see Canal, which is a very fun map, I have to say. It's a large map, which means there's a lot more opportunities for more mobility tanks, or maybe you might see like a strat with like TDs. We did see an interesting TD strat from Oblivion yesterday, where they played an E4. Ranger was playing the E4. And maybe we're going to see something crazy today as well. And I just realized that I was just looking at the... I was in the room for a bit too long. Thankfully, neither team rated up on their lineup. I don't want to like spoil the other lineup to like either team. I want to keep it as fair as possible. So I just got to make sure that I'm not in the room while the countdown is, beyond 3 minutes. So in the meantime, I guess we could talk about the games. So I think the first game was Middleburg, and it was, what was it? Oh yes, so it was Mouse capping B from Apex, and then you had like 6 tanks playing up top. So it was like 2 Krons, I think there was like a TP, one guy here, one guy out here, and then maybe a guy sitting back here or something like this. And on the side of Origin, you had something kind of similar in a sense, but instead of it being like a mouse in town, it was just like one lone Kron just sitting in town. Maybe like 1 or 2 guys like here. There was a guy here, or maybe it was just one guy here. Yeah, and then you had a bunch of tanks like up top. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this checks out. Okay, so what happened was after capping B, this mouse Blue just makes a gamer play. I don't know if his pathing was driving like this, or like this. But either way, he made a very aggressive play where he just drove up top on the hill, not really caring if he's going to get farmed in the side or not, or spotted for it. He just drives up top. But the timing was so scuffed because what happened was by the time he drove all the way up to put shots into the rear of these Origin tanks over here, the only tank on Apex's side that matched Blue's aggression in the mouse was a 60 TP DJ, and the other tanks were just like sitting back a bit. I feel like if you made a bit of a consolidated play where you have 3 tanks pressure up the inside lane first, shoot out this. These guys also put in a shootout. These 2 tanks right here, it was Rob and Archangel, they would have both died here. 100% both died. Maybe you have the guy in back play up here as well, just for even bit of a stronger angle here. Or you could have him like play here to try to cover Blue a bit in the mouse, but either way, they Apex could have played much stronger if they timed everything much better. This would have been an absolutely dominant steamroll performance. Maybe like a 7-1 game or something like that. But unfortunately, it was not. But either way, the push worked out very well because they were still able to pick up the 2 kills over here, and then slowly, Apex was able to bring back the HP in the endgame brawl. So that was pretty fun to watch from the side of Apex. And then on the other side, we saw it was effectively 7 Origin tanks. They were playing all on top. So they capped the base. They were playing like guys here. I think there was like maybe a guy here, maybe like guy here, guys here, maybe a guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they sent Cora alone into the B cap. And then what happened was Apex, they were up on caps, and they eventually just took the numerical advantage in town. They killed Cora. They kept B, and then they forced Origin to push out of their holding positions into Apex's own hold, and Apex just completely surrounded them, and by the time Origin were able to pick up kills, they were just way too far away from the caps to really do anything. So it was like a bunch of tanks like just chilling like this or something like that. Just like a bunch of tanks just like up top on Apex's side, but they weren't able to come back on the caps. So here we're gonna see a mouse on the side of Joker, which is a little bit interesting. So we also see a 45 being played by Steel. Steel, he's pretty good in the 45. Let's see if he's going to be as effective in it as he has been. And we're going to see triple light tanks actually from the side of Origin immediately go for the D side, and we do see a bit of an interesting play, and the 4005 is already able to put in a very good shot into Koro. I'm not sure if that was blind or not, and maybe the mouse by Kami is going to put a good shot into Tanner, but he wasn't able to do so, and by now Joker knows that Origin, they're going to be playing for D, and now Joker are going to try to play for A, but they're going to be down on caps, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I will say a bit of saving grace for Joker is that they have a mouse who could potentially make a play onto the C cap at some point, and I'm almost certain that Origin, they're probably anticipating that, and Origin, they're putting a bunch of blind shots into the spawn of Joker, and they're just trying to get a bit of information with Tanner peeking this top hill that he is. Tanner's probably going to be able to spot Kami in the mouse, and they're probably going to be like, okay. And Tanner does get the jump on Kami. Well played from Tanner. He's going to put another shot. Nope, he does not put in another shot. So I have to say, good position from Tanner and well played. Just able to punish the mouse. And it looks like Panzer in the RHM is also crossfiring out Kami from the deep spawn. So Origin have their angles down to a T. And despite being up on caps, or sorry, despite being down on caps, Joker is still finding ways to just bleed and lose a bit of their HP advantage. And good, well-placed shot from Kami into Tanner, and Tanner is just trading with Kami right now, and so far Tanner is winning these trades. Kami is down to about 2,000 HP now, and it does look like Batpack in the Kron is going to look for potentially an angle on Tanner. He is going to get spotted by Bubba Vernon, who isn't looking, and it looks like Batpack is just going to drive all the way across. He's going to eat so many shells for this, but I think it's a necessary play just because Kami is going to eventually die there, and now Tanner has to back up from his position. Kami is able to move a bit forwards and potentially make a play onto C, but we see that Backpack isn't really trying to peak anymore. He's lost so much HP, and now, if you are Joker, what do you do here? This is tough to play out of, just because you have a heavy tank who's now half HP. He's going to be effectively kind of useless, and you have a very, I'd say a very tricky setup to try to counter if you are on the Joker side. Or this Origin hold is not easy to break down, just because they are just covering all the angles. So you see Panzer and the RHM is boosted on top of that hill, and he's just staring straight into the C-cap, as well as Crit Call. They are just ready for Kami's plane to C. They know that he's going to try to step C eventually, and they're going to shoot him out like crazy. And Korra, as well, in his position in spawn, he is just looking towards the C-cap. The C-cap is the kill zone for Jokers, and it looks like Joker are trying to maybe make a bit of counterplay into the D side, and I think that'd be a good play, but it's just kind of tricky to do. You have to be very smart with it. You have to be very fast with it as well. And we see Kami is still bleeding shot after shot. The RHM on the side of Ferrari Peak is putting in good shots into Kami. He is just continuing to bleed, and maybe, just maybe, these light tanks on the side of Joker are going to be able to put some cross shots back into Ferrari Peak, but he doesn't. He just gets completely unpunished, and now we have two Joker tanks who are now two half HP, like both at half HP, and Reaction does get blind shot, so Origin are just doing a really good job at just bleeding out the Joker tanks, and we see Player try to make a bit of a weird play down the middle, but I don't think this is a good play at all. If anything, he's just going to be a free kill, and Joker, they need to capitalize on this. They need to make the play onto C. They need to make the repush onto D now, but it's just too little too late, I think. They're going to hang two tanks. Kami on the C-cap is going to die. Player in the middle is also going to die, and by the time that these Joker tanks are going to push the D corner, it's not going to be enough. They're just going to lose that fight. And we see that Reaction is now a one-shot. Player is a one-shot. Kami is a two-shot. Backpack is a one-shot. There are 4 one-shots on the side of Joker. They are getting boxed right now. Origin are 6,000 HP up, 7,000 HP up. Now it's 6,000 again. But Tanner is a one-shot, but it's not going to matter at all unless maybe... Unfortunately, Kami bounces the flat side of Korra, which was really unfortunate. That could have been, maybe been the kill shot that the Joker could have needed to maybe... No, I mean, this is cooked for Joker. This is absolutely cooked for Joker. They just got completely boxed by this Origin hold. They couldn't really make any plays whatsoever. So I would say that the mouse on the Joker side was just a very sure-tell sign that they were going to play for C. And Origin, they knew about it. They had all these tanks just pre-aiming the C-cap. They had Korra over in the spawn area just looking towards the C-cap. They had Panzer looking towards the C-cap. They had Crit at the this ramp roof here just staring into the entrance at C, and now it's just a 7-0 victory for Origin. Well played from these guys. This is kind of hard to watch as a former Joker player myself. Like, it's one thing to be playing like with these guys and trying to win, but it's another thing to be spectating, just watching them get completely boxed. And this is my very first time spectating Joker as a streamer, so come on, Joker, you guys got to lock in. Come on, Kami, come on, Reaction, come on, Steel, lock in, lock in. But I'm not gonna be biased. I'm gonna, like, you know, cheer for both sides, and I do think Origin played that very well. I would say their setup was just very difficult to break. Tanner was making all the correct movements. He was getting enough, he was putting enough vision forwards, he was putting shots forwards, and he was just already, like, by the time Kami stepped into the C-cap, he was already 1500 HP. He just bled 15, like half his HP pool for absolutely nothing. It was just a free gift, as some would, so to speak, for Origin. So let's see if Joker can get their act together, try to lock in, try to, I want to see a Joker Apex Grand Finals, but also may the best win. We could see an Origin Apex Grand Finals as well. And we're going to see a bit of a lighter lineup from Joker this time. We're going to see no mouse. We're going to see double Krons, double 116, a concept, and double light tanks. While on the side of Origin, we're going to see, interesting, a 4005 from Korra, double Karos, double mediums, and then concept 1B and IS4. So I'm interested to see if the IS-4 is going to go to the position where I think he's going to be going. And just to double check up on the chat, 34 watt B. Maybe I was the one cursing Apex all along. Maybe. And then work ethic. Apex be schmoovin'. Yeah, they look good. They look hot right now. And then we're back to regular schedule of Joker tries to break the Origin hold. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate that it's kind of returned back to this Joker pushing into Origin type of gameplay, but it is what it is. I do think when Origin was like pushing into Joker back when I was on Joker, it was fun to play against that, you know. It was a nice change of pace, so to speak. Just being the ones receiving the push from time to time. So Ferrari Peak says lock in. Yeah. Both teams made a best win of this set. And I'm sure these guys are hyped. This is probably their first game against Joker that they've won in a while. So I'm sure that they're very excited about this. And it does look like the IS-4 is going to go down into the middle ditch. We'll see if he's going to be a fast kill for the Joker team because we have all these mobility elements playing for the D side. And if Joker just take the push onto this guy, if they just all peek him, this IS-4 is just going to get completely bombed. But unfortunately, it looks like the Joker teams are a bit scared. They're not willing to peek. And now it does seem like they are willing to peek. The 40-05 is able to put in put in one shot. He is going to put in the second shot into Backpack, and it does seem like the IS-4 does get unpunished for this. I would have thought that the double crons or the double crons in the 116 on the side of Joker would have tried to maybe look for shots onto the IS-4, but I guess they were just a bit scared of the 40-05. And to be fair, he did put a massive clip in, and despite getting the double caps, Joker are very much down on the HP, even against a super light lineup by the side of Origin. It does look like Origin have spotted a bit of a hold on the side of Joker, and they're going to try to go for this push against Cackety in the spawn, and I don't think that Joker are able to cover this very well at all, and they're just going to pick up the kill on Cackety here, and they are cross-running out Lightronics. Lightronics might die. Panzer might actually die as well, but it seems like Cackety is going to die before any of that, and it looks like Reaction boosted up in this position. Might be able to pick up 2 kills actually here on Panzer, but he is getting shot by Ferrari Peak, he is getting shot by Bubba, and it does look like Reaction is going to try to hide in this position right now. Let's see what kind of shots he has. He is just going to try to play safe, which makes sense. He doesn't want to die and maybe throw the game for his team. It is 6v6 right now. Origin do have a one-shot, but they also have 3 tanks who are just being completely useless over here, which should give Joker a bit of initiative on the other side to try to go for the isolation on Clinton Call, and the IS-4 does eventually die, and these 3 mobility elements are just getting perma-spotted by the Joker boost. And even though Ferrari Peak is able to run it, he is getting shot up on the crossing. So good shots from the side of Joker on Ferrari Peak, but Bubba and Panther, they are perma-trapped here. And if you are Joker right now, you just need to try to play with your Concept 1B, who is full HP. You need to get him into the game, be effective. And it looks like Cora is going to go for the quick isolated play on the Kron Von over here. And the Kron is going to quickly die. If Tommy can maybe put in one more shell, it would be good. And Cora is looking for the kill, but Cora does get killed in return. So losing a 40-05 for a Kron, I don't think that was the correct play, and it looks like it's going to be 5v4 in favor of Joker, and Tanner is going to be the next kill. Reaction in the boost is able to put a very good shot into Panzer. Bubba and Panzer were able to eventually run away from the spawn of Joker at some point, but they bled a lot for it. Bubba bled so much HP for it, and then Panzer eventually died to Reaction. So this is going to look like a Joker win. It is 5v2. This is a great turnaround, especially compared to the first game. So, well played to the Joker boys. They have locked in. And this is going to be an exciting set, guys. I have a feeling that this set is going to be back and forth. Just because of how the strats, like I'm seeing on Canal, I have a funny feeling that the next set of games that we're going to see are about to be crazy. Akame. You are a big fan of my video title, okay, or my stream title. Okay, Akami. If you're gonna be sarcastic like that, Akami, I might not show up to you in Ranger's wedding, alright? How about that? You're just not gonna have your former Supreme Leader at your, your most important day of your life for now. And then Stygian, to be honest, New Canal looks very lopsided to North Spawn advantage. I'd say in general, like North Spawn has always been the stronger spawn, arguably, on Canal, just because of how much crossfire you have on the C cap. But I do agree, like some of the boosts that you can do on North Spawn, yeah, it's like by far the stronger spawn for sure. So pretty good strat from the Joker side. They had an interesting boost where reaction was just completely safe, and even though the Origin tanks went forward to push on Kakady, they lost a they lost a Carl for that. One Carl was bled down to a one shot, and Bubba Vernon in his med was just completely trapped there. Only who was it? Only Ferrari Peak was able to run away from that spawn area, and when he did, he got completely shot out on the crossing. So it was definitely an outstrat, I'd say, by the Joker side. But on the other, on the first game, we definitely saw an outstrat, or rather, Origin just completely countered Joker when they tried to make their play onto C. And let's see what is going to happen on, I think this is Yukon. So, Yukon is a bit of an interesting map, and from both teams, I would not be surprised to see them like try to go for like a spawn YOLO if one side decides to go like D and the other side decides to go like A. But it does look like we're gonna see Origin. They're gonna go to the D side as well as Joker, so they're gonna meet each other here, and I'm curious to see if Origin are gonna go for a shootout or not. And it looks like Ferrari Peak does cross unspotted, so reaction unable to spot the light tank going to the corner of the map, and this is going to give Origin a very quick positional advantage, and I don't think they know about this. And Panzer only eats one shot, and Ferrari Peak does get a good shot on reaction with HE. Good roll from him, and Ferrari Peak does take one in return, but reaction takes one more shell as well, and it does look like Origin are just going to take a bit of initiative. They're going to cap the base, and I don't think they're going to want to push any further. Maybe they're going to try to rotate one more tank to the corner, like Tanner is what he's doing, try to take a bit better positioning on the D side and try to shoot these Joker tanks that are going to be, low ground relative to these Origin tanks. But it does look like Tanner and Panzer are going to try to slowly improve their position and try to force Backpack to back down a bit, and then maybe they're going to do a push down low where Lightronics is and try to just shoot out like Reaction and Backpack. So Reaction and Backpack are potential kills for Origin, and whether they go for it or not, we'll have to see. And Reaction is getting caught out a bit. Panzer does clip out. Tanner does mess up his shot, but it does look like, oh, I didn't even realize this, but Crit and Call on the decap just got completely killed. How did I miss it? I am blind. But it looks like this is actually a really good advantage for Joker. Joker are 5k, 6k HP up, and they're slowly just boxing Origin. Origin really late on this play onto Backpack and Reaction, and by the time that they've gone, the Mouse is going into the fight. Lakami and the Mouse is just going to push, and he's just going to ram Tanner. He's just going to be a bully, be a menace. And on the other side of the map, we see Krish going for a 1v1. We also see Player going for a 1v1 against Cora. Player is going to just absolutely smack Cora in that 1v1. I don't even need to watch that. And Ferrari Peak in the corner is putting in effective shots, but he does get killed by Kami and the Mouse. Kami, this guy is probably the MVP of the match, even though he didn't do much. I just have to say this because he is playing a Mouse. He just puts a shot in the air as a salute. I'm almost certain that shot was for me. Thank you, Kami. And we see a 7-1 victory for Joker. Very dominant performance from Joker. So, let's see. Let me catch up on YouTube chat. I can sit in the gay section, Bob. Make sure to bring some wine and kitchen equipment as wedding gifts. Well, the only wedding gift you are getting from me is a thumbs up and a pat on the back. And we see Lightronics do 0 damage on the side of Origin. Kind of unfortunate from him. in Crittenden, the guy who stepped onto the D base just completely got bombed out of the game, despite majority of the Origin team playing towards the D side. They played up top. They could have maybe put in some suppressing fire, but I guess not. Maybe that's why Tanner was able to cross to the D corner unscathed. It's because Joker just completely bombed the 116 onto D cap. So I wasn't really paying attention to that, and that's on me. I should have been looking for that. And then Keeping, what? Akame, why are you flaming Bob on live television? Keeping, if you think Akame can flame me, oh, buddy, you do not know what flaming is. And Akame is in no... Akame is in no position to flame me. And 2, he knows who his old daddy is. So, take that as you will. Apex and Grand Finals. What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? I don't know what that reference is, but please be nice to each other in chat. Please behave. Work ethic. Do your job. You are a moderator. You are my #1 moderator, actually. So, do if that says as you will. And then what's up, Catalyst? Nice to see you in the stream. And let's see if Origin are able to force a tiebreak against Joker. I do see double 62As if my eyes don't deceive me. Yeah, we do see double 62As. Let's see where those double 62As go. And I have a feeling they're probably going to play for, I want to say A corner for some reason. I don't think double 62As going to D corner would be weird, or would be viable. Just because the 62As will get spotted by the light tanks on the crossing and potentially nuked. So if they go A corner to that could be a different story. They might have timing on heavies, and I don't know if Joker... Okay, it just really depends on Joker's strat, whether these 62As are going to be effective or not. And let's see where they're going to be going. And it looks like Panzer is a bit AFK. He's not going to be loaded in yet with Ferrari Peak. And we do see the 62A is actually going to be speed boosting into the D cap. Or not the D cap, just the D side. If he's going to go to the corner, he's probably going to get spotted and shot out for this. He does get spotted. Do we see a shootout? Do we see a shootout from Joker? We do see 2 shots. He gets tracked on in the open. Do they put in more shots? Unfortunately, they do not. So Ferrari Peak does get tracked, but he got spun out in cover, so he was fine. And we do see an early advantage for Joker already. Just the 2 light tanks are able to cross through the corner in time. Tanner is going to get caught out, just trying to cross up. And if Poppy Loopy is paying attention, if he can maybe put in the clip into Tanner, and Kami eats over 1,000 damage trying to cross into the corner as well. And this is actually a really good trade from Origin. So Origin and Joker, they have 2 tanks that are bled 1,000. And I would say the heavy tank Kami bleeding 1,000 damage is actually a bit more valuable than, or a bit of a worse trade for Joker than the 62A losing 1,000 HP is, because Kami, the reason why he wanted to drive up to the corner is to match Tanner. Tanner was able to drive up to the corner relatively unpunished. And Panzer is now finally in game, so now he's gonna reinforce the Joker side, and we might see if Steel realizes that if they spot Panzer soon, don't go current Panzer. Okay, so I think Steel needs to just take initiative on Bubba here, and if... Oh, really good shot from Steel. So now that Joker have spotted the final 62A, they know effectively where all 7 tanks are, and slowly but surely Steel just needs to play with Coffee Loopy to try to open up an angle on the right side of the map to try to win the game for Jokers. But it looks like Tanner is going to try to take a bit of initiative and try to push the corner, but he's just getting completely bombed out of the game. But at the same time, we see the 116 trying to make a play down low, but it's not going to be enough. Tanner just gets completely shot up, gets killed, and now we're going to see a quick brawl in the corner where the light tanks on the Joker side are going to make short work of Ferrari P. And despite the Origin counter push down low, it just was a bit timed poorly, I'd say. And Joker are able to pick up the kill on Ferrari P, and Batpack looks like he's going to be the next focus fire, but it doesn't seem like Origin has shells loaded up for the punish on Batpack. Batpack is able to put one more shell into Lightronics. He is going to be a one-shot to Lakami. Does Lakami pick up Lightronics? He does pick up Lightronics. Korra did bounce the shot on Batpack, I believe, and Batpack is surviving. He is a survivor. He has a story to share, and his story to share is that... Oh, never mind, he died. Okay, that was a little bit unfortunate, but Panzer AFK at the start of the game, I don't think that necessarily lost them the game, because either way, Joker were set up for the shootout on the crossing. Like, you saw that Ferrari Peak just got completely bombed going up, and he would have probably died if Joker had a bit better timing with the track shots, because as soon as Ferrari Peak got tracked, he was actually in cover as his tracks were like completely damaged. But if Panzer were crossing as well with him, I think that one of those 62As would have just died. 100% they would have just died. And we're going to see a Joker versus Apex Grand Finals. Commiserations to Origin. They had a great first game, but unfortunately the rest of the games were just like this. I'd say not steamrolls. I'd say the Canal game was close, but then the rest of the games were not really close. So the Yukon games were a steamroll. So just checking up on the YouTube chat. What's up, Tyrannos? I didn't even see you join my stream. Bob has doubled the viewers of Monkey. I don't know who that is referring to, but do I have double the viewers? I have 41 viewers. Oh my god. Hello, 41 human beings. Just checking out more on the chat. Dizzy saying Cora trying to look tough. I don't know if he's trying to look tough or not. I think he's just... Wait, is Monkey referring to Cora? Is that what you guys are saying? What the... Yo. Bro. No. Don't say that in my chat. Toxicity is not allowed in this chat, alright? It's fine if it's like, you know, to each other as long as you know each other and it's fine with it, but if it's to Cora, he might take it the wrong way, and he might just, you know, put all of us on a certain list of his. So, guys, do not be toxic to other content creators in my chat. Let's be respectful. Let's just use my stream as a cool place to learn about top-level comp. Maybe for the newer players in the stream, maybe you're learning a lot from my commentary. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask them in the chat. I'm always happy to answer questions for up-and-coming comp players. Stygian, I don't agree with Origin's decision to play aggressive there at all. I think I would agree, yeah. Just because Joker kind of had a bit of a hold where they didn't commit anybody to the D corner, and even though Origin had control of D, they could, like the far D corner with the light tank, they could have played a bit slower just to evaluate and count tanks and understand what Joker's tank distribution is before committing like a guy onto the D cap, because D cap, as soon as you step in, and if you have anybody where, like, say, Backpack and Reaction were, you're just going to get bombed, bled to death there. And then, I'm assuming that was the game you were talking about. And then this current game, I mean, this current game, I wouldn't say that the AFK was, like, Panzer being AFK, I don't think it really affected the game significantly, because Joker were ready for a shootout on the 62A's crossing. They bombed... If they bombed, what's his name, Ferrari Peak, they would have bombed Panzer as well, so... And Alabaster, what's up? I think you're Hanzo, right? So why is Steel running single shot? So from my experience of playing with Steel Hunter on the Joker team, Steel's a bit of a creature, alright? So he likes to farm... He likes to hold on to his HP and never, like, HP share or use it in a brawl. If there's a tank that's going to be full HP on Joker at the end of a game, 9 times out of 10, it's Steel. This guy will not ever, like, you know, lead a push. He won't ever be aggressive. He's always going to conserve HP. And so the reason why he's running the single shot on the 116 is exactly that. He just wants to try to farm using the better, quote-unquote, better gun. But, like, if he isn't a numbskull and just, like, plays with the triple shot, he could be, you know, a bit of a better teammate. And maybe, you know, maybe that's why he's in the Kron now. The Kron, you don't have an option for a single shotgun, so he has a Clipper now. Hanzo, Origin can't be pushing there. What are they doing? I think the push down low is a good idea. It's just the timing was a bit off. So Tanner pressuring the top should have been it should have happened after Origin pushed down low, if that makes any sense. Like, they've made that play against us before, and they have won with it, but they got the timing right in that play. I think I was playing that game, and I kind of did a monkey play where I didn't block the bottom tanks from getting through. But we're going to see Joker versus Apex in the Grand Finals. This is Apex's first Grand Finals. Let's see if they are going to...
Let's go.
Let's see if they're gonna make this their first win ever for a quote-unquote season, or not season, tournament, I guess. So we're gonna see a bit of a split play. They're gonna send 3 Krons towards the C side while they're sending 3 tanks towards the A side, with the light tank trying to spot up top on A. I do want to note the RHM versus the Vickers. The Vickers is just going to completely bomb the RHM, and Reaction does get a really good early initial shot on Askeladd, and we do see Tazuzu and Steel are kind of opposing each other. Tazuzu does put a shot into Steel, does not pen, and Market Man is going to step the C base, so a bit of an interesting strategy, I have to say, from the side of Apex, where they just kind of sent 3 Krons alone onto C, and they're just playing like this. And we do see an early B step from Kakady, so I have to say good timing from Kakady, but if you are Joker, you have to be cognizant that they do have a guy on C, and they do punish the guy on C. So Market Man, they knew that Market Man, somebody capped C, and it was not the light tank, so they're like, okay, let's preempt the top of C in case they try to peek for Kakady, and they did a perfect suppression of Market Man. Market Man isn't going to be able to put in a clip into Kakady, and Blue does look like he's going to put in a very good set of shots into Kakady. He puts a full clip into Kakady, but Kakady was able to fulfill his role. He was able to get B. He was able to back out and survive despite losing over 1400 HP in his 116. Or rather, yeah, 1400 HP or so in his 116. And now if you are Apex, you're going to have to try to push into a double cap setup from Joker. And here, against a setup like this, where you are the enemy team has double caps and they're playing very hard on A, and they have a bit of presence on B as well, you have to try to create a bit of chaos and also try to counter cap the B cap down low. And it does look like Blue does get spotted in his position here, and I'm not sure if he's going to try to commit into the cap drive just yet. He does get shot by Reaction, well-placed shot there, and Blue is hesitating a bit. He doesn't want to get himself completely bombed, completely nuked. And I do like the position that Kami's in, where he's kind of aiming, or he was aiming towards like the seaside from this bush, just to try to cover Kakady just a little bit. And we do see Blue driving into the B cap. They're going to be playing for the B base, and we do see Market Man trying to put a puts in a couple shots into Steel, and we do see a bit of an interesting play from the Joker team where they're sending Backpack and Steel and Kami over to try to bomb Blue on the B cap, and Blue is going to be a very quick kill as long as the Joker tanks just pen their shots. But it looks like Joker is trading a bit poorly right now, and Blue looks like he is going to be able to just drive out of the B cap and go for a push on Kami, go for a push on Kakady as well with Sherman, and it does look like Apex are getting 2 isolated kills here, and Blue does fall, but it looks like Kami is going to fall as well as Kakady, and even though Reaction is winning the light tank 1v1, I think this is potentially an Apex win if Joker aren't able to capitalize up top and get a kill or 2 up top. And Reaction he needs to get a massive high roll. He needs to get a high roll here. And if he does not get a high roll, he is going to just lose this 1v1, and it does look like on the top side, Joker is winning for now, but it looks like Sherman is going to go to the rear of Reaction. He does pick up the kill on Reaction, and we do see Tazuzu going into the B cap. Tazuzu is going to be a pickup for Yaro in for a backpack, and if you are Spanish Sahara, you need to try to stop A, and that's exactly what they're going to do. But if Tazuzu dies here, if Backpack dies here as well, this is going to be a short win for Apex, I have to say. Yarrow into 215B needs to pick up the 2 kills, one on Market Man, one onto Zuzu. He picks up the kill onto Zuzu, and they just need to get 1 kill. Nice, and 1 tick, and Joker are able to kind of clutch it up on the caps, but that was so scuffed. What a chaotic game to watch, and I think I did a terrible job at just spectating this. Just because, like, there was a lot going on. So we saw Blue drive into the B cap, and then we saw the counterplay from Joker where they send Steel and Batpack across the A like side up top to try to put shots into Blue into B cap. But then Blue, after getting really good suppressing fire from his teammates Market Man, and I believe it was someone else. It was one more Kron. It was maybe, I know Market Man was one of them. I forget who the other Kron is, but Market Man and another Apex tank were doing really good job at putting suppressing fire into Steel into Backpack, and they just bled down those 2 tanks really far. And then Blue didn't really get punished for his play into the B cap, and he eventually made a counter push into Kami and into Kakady, and they picked up 2 very fast kills on these 2 tanks here. So Kami, even though he was much healthier than Kakady, he did half the damage of Kakady, which I find surprising, because what should have happened is that Kami should have taken a long time to die, but I think it was Sherman and Blue, they made a pinching maneuver, and they picked up Kami, and then they picked up Kakady. I thought that was a beautiful play from Apex's side. And then Reaction, even though he brought the Light Tank 1v1 to, say, a one-shot, he wasn't able to pick up the kill at the end, and eventually Sherman just went up the rear of Reaction, eventually picked the kill. But somehow Joker, just having the virtue of 2 caps, were able to somehow clutch it up at the very end game. So they were winning the brawl on top on A, and the Apex tanks were doing a good job trying to jump down Kite and waste time. But by the time that the caps got to like 9:55, all Joker needed was just 1 kill and 1 tick of the cap in order to win the game. So well played from Joker, but also that was a very scuffed game to watch, I have to say. There's a lot going on.
Time to roll out.
Alright, so let's go up high. We're gonna see this time 6 tanks from the Apex side. Oh, it looks like Apex are gonna go for potentially a boost here with the Ho-Ri. And I wonder if Joker are gonna be able to spot this. And I don't think they are, just because of the fact that Joker don't have a lightning. It does look like they're going for blind shots down the middle, but maybe they're just trying to go for Zuzu. So I guess, okay, maybe Yarrow is going for shots on potentially what would be the boost, but I guess he's like not aiming exactly as it should be. And it looks like Reaction Backpack kind of go for a bit of a B run, a B capping run, and they're able to grab the base, which means that Apex are gonna be down on caps. And if Joker play for C, just like try to cap C, they will have cap advantage. But again, they see Sherman just sitting in this TD bush in the back. They know that, okay, C is probably not grabbable now, and we can't really play for A, assume if they know that Blue in the Ho-Ri is boosted up top. And let's see if Blue has any shots. I do want to see the angles that he has. I feel like Blue could be potentially climbing higher, but actually maybe the Ho-Ri is a bit too slow for that. So we're gonna see. Was that a blind shot I heard? Not sure, but we see Apex making a bit of a play onto the C side. They spot 3 tanks going to the A side, or sorry, not A side, going to the C side by for Apex, and this gives Joker a lot of good information to try to, one, make a rotation, and Kakady does get shot, and by now he needs to be like telling his team, oh, Ho-Ri is boosted, Ho-Ri is boosted, because the only way he can get shot from where he's at is from a boost. And I think Sherman is playing a bit too far aggressive. He's going to get caught out, but unfortunately Kakady just doesn't place a shot very well, and it looks like Joker are just shooting out Sherman. Sherman to Zuzu are going to be 2 very quick kills for the side of Joker, and Joker are immediately going to go for the counter push over here, and Blue has to drop down in order to support his team, but it looks like all these tanks in the corner of C from Apex are going to be kills. And we do see the firing line now set up by Joker. They do pick up the kill onto Zuzu. First blood to Joker, and we see Kami trying to block a bit for his teammates behind him while reloading his shell. On the other side, we do see that Steel and Market Man are doing a 1v1, which doesn't really matter. The main brawl is on this side, and it's going to be a 6v5 on this end. And we see Blue playing a very aggressive with the Hori. I mean, I think playing aggressive, playing with balls and Hori is fine. It's just that maybe... Not sure what Puffy Loopy is doing. He's trying to cap the base, but this is not a cap game in my opinion. This is a kill game. He needs to get his clip into the game somehow. And Reaction might die to Sherman. Reaction does die to Sherman. Smash the Heart is going to pick up Kakady, and this is actually looking very good for Apex now. So despite getting the quick advantage on the 2 kills by Joker, they just lost the mid brawl somehow. I'm not sure how that devolved and how they just lost so much HP, but I guess Batpack and Reaction just got bled out a lot, and they were, by the time they pushed, they were like half HP if I remember correctly. I'm not sure how Joker lost this game. It looked like they had a lot of kills lined up, but that was interesting. That was interesting. Okay. So Batpack and Reaction, yeah, look, these 2 guys, they bled a lot of HP before even making like the full push into the C corner. I feel like if these 2 tanks were healthy, this game should have been a loss for Apex, just because Apex were a bit far overextended, and maybe a bit of tunnel vision from me. I wasn't paying attention to the HP, but it looked like Joker just had a bunch of kills lined up on like for them. So I'm not sure what happened. I'll have to watch that back later. So, let me actually pull up my own stream. Let's see what's going on. Okay, I'm just rewatching the games right now, just trying to figure out what exactly happened. And it seems like... Well, this is playing live right now, so the game that I just watched is now playing live, like, considering my delay. Like, they bleed out Sherman like crazy, so Sherman to Zuzu just got bled out like crazy, but somehow Reaction bleeds down to 1400 HP, and so does Batpack. So this 2116 is like 2 pushing tanks bleeding out a lot of HP early on, and I guess like they had it, like Joker had initiative, but they just bled way too much with Reaction and Batpack. So by the time Joker actually committed to the full counter push into the C corner, it was just they lost too much HP despite having a significant positional and HP advantage to start with. And we're gonna see KPZ 70 played by Steel, and let's see where Apex are gonna go. So really good blind fire from I think Kami and maybe Reaction. It almost hit Askeladd in the Vickers Light, and we're gonna see a bit of a passive strategy from Apex, or not Apex, from Joker, where they're kind of baiting back a bit, and they're sending Puffy Loopy alone to Felice, and we do see a bit of a passive game from actually both sides. So Apex, they're playing a bit of a control, setup, while Joker is also playing not really a control setup, more of like a bait setup where they have the Kron and the 116 just holding back a bit, and Askeladd does step onto the C base, and I wonder if Reaction is just going to try to peek and go for the reset and just trade shot for shot, and it does look like he's going to do so, and Askeladd does have to get out of the cap. He is spotted for 20 because of the light tank's spawning mechanic, and if you're Apex, what do you do here? And Askeladd does eat another shell from Reaction. Well-placed shell from Reaction. Good eco shell there. And Market Man does put a good HE into Kami. Does he reload his clip? He does reload the clip. And we do see a rotation on the side of Apex. They're going to send Pac-Man towards the A side. And Steel might get an HE shot onto Blue. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the timing on it. And Pac-Man does get spotted. Coffee does take one HE shot from Sherman. So both teams are just kind of feeling each other out right now. Nobody's really committing to a cap just yet, and Reaction does seem like he wants to step the C base. He does have HP advantage over the light tank. He just needs to be careful of a potential rotation play that Apex could make to try to punish him. But it looks like, yeah, I feel like if Apex rotated, oh, really good blind fire from Market Man, who just completely bombed Reaction. Reaction just ate 2 shots from the Concept 1B, just completely blind. Well played from Market Man into Concept 1B, and that just gave Apex, I think, just a complete advantage in this game, I would say. Even though that both sides have no caps, Reaction is going to be, in theory, down 1 shot of damage to Askeladd into Light Tank 1v1. And Steel is bleeding another shot to Blue, so Apex, despite getting bled initially, they are now the ones bleeding Joker in return, and both sides don't really want to make a move against the other, and I find this a little bit boring to watch. Come on, somebody trying to make a push, somebody trying to make a move somewhere. And we do see Batpack commit towards the top of this, the C side, and we do see more bleeds coming in now. Player puts a well-placed shot into, I think it was Spanish Sahara, and we do see Market Man eating another shell from Kami. Well-placed shot from him, and we do see Batpack trying to take this position over here where he's trying to maybe play for a C reset if Sherman does step to base, and we do see, oh, and massive Amorek from Steel. What? I don't know if that was a double tap or if that was an immediate red rack, but that just completely changed the game. Now, I think Joker is just going to win this game just because of that one Amorek alone. What an unfortunate sequence for Apex. Apex started just bleeding a lot of HP, and then the Amorek on the 60 TP just sealed the deal. This is going to be a win for Joker, 100%, unless we see a generational throw from Joker. And if there's going to be somebody who's going to throw this game, it might be like Reaction, but he's bled already. He's probably going to be playing a bit careful. So we see Batpack now step to C base, and we do see a bit of a counterplay up top by Askeladd and Market Man. So Kami does know that he has to peek now, and Batpack is eventually going to grab the C base, but Pac-Man is not going to be in position to reset in time, and I wonder if they're just going to try to make a bit of an aggressive play on Batpack with Jizuzu trying to climb down low and crawl up Batpack's rear, but it looks like the counterplay up top on the C side is getting punched. Market Man does lead another shell for it, and it looks like Jizuzu is trying to position himself to make the play down low, but he does get spotted, so Batpack does know that Jizuzu is going to be below him, and I wonder if Steel is going to try to cover him, and it looks like Joker are going to make a bit of a counterplay on Blue in the middle, which is the correct play to do. This is a free kill for the Joker team. And we'd see Market Man fall, Blue fall, and this is a 8,000, 7,000 HP difference in favor of Joker. Joker are going to slowly tie the noose around Apex's remaining tanks. Pac-Man is shortly going to fall. Jizuzu is getting pressured by Steel. Does Steel get another Amorek? Does Steel hit it? One more Amorek. He gets some max roll, but not an Amorek. And we're going to see Kami pick up the kill on Pac-Man, and it is 7-1 victory in favor of Joker. And I feel like that Amorek was 100. I mean, I said it sealed the deal earlier, but just looking at how Apex was bleeding after that, I feel like it didn't necessarily seal the deal, because what would have happened is the 60 TP who got Amorek, I think it was Sherman. Sherman would have gone Amorek, or no, he would have stepped onto C, but Batpack was in a position to counter the TP. And slowly but surely, Joker would have continued to bleed out Apex as they did in the following sequence after the Amorek. And I think Joker would have just been so far up on HP, they would have made the same play that they did, where they tried to bomb Blue, and then I think that game is still going to be a victory for the side of Joker. So I gotta say, I think it was Steel who got the Amorek. Well played, well played. But I'm gonna be real, that is luck right there. That is just insane luck. Okay. So the YouTube chat is popping off quite a bit. I can't really read all of this, and frankly, I don't really want to read all of this. So work ethic, please do your job. You will be fed in due time as long as you do your job. And I wonder if Sherman was running Protective Kit or not. It feels like scummy of me to kind of say that, but Protective Kit on the TP, I feel like it's just a must-have no matter what in competitive, just because if that was like a quick double tap like Amarak, fair game, right? But if it was an immediate red rack, that's so frustrating. I've been on the losing end of seasons where we just lose like a very important set or match just because of a red rack, and it's not fun at all. It's really not. And we see an interesting selection from Steel, the kind of MVP of last game. He's playing the VK90, and we're going to see if he's going to be effective in it or not. And I do want to fly high. Let's see where these Joker tanks are going. We see Kami going to play up top on the C side again, and he did a pretty good job last game. He did play more than Steel, despite Steel getting an Amarak kill. So let's see if Kami is able to do quite a bit of farm, and it does look like we're going to see a bit of a stronger lineup from Apex onto the C side. They're going to send Blue into the C cap very early on, and Reaction doesn't really spot much going towards A, so he probably knows that, okay, Apex are going to be strong arming C, and we do see Spanish Sahara and Markman both spotted by Lakami, so they do know that Apex have at least 3 tanks on the C side, so this gives Joker free reign to just try to step the A base, but it seems like Reaction is trying to be a little bit careful, try to probe just a little bit before stepping onto the base itself. And we see early cap advantage go for Apex. This makes sense considering their strong C setup. And we do see Reaction capping the base. Let's actually spectate to see the shots that he might take from Pagman potentially. And Pagman unfortunately fluffs a couple shots. Pagman does bounce the rear of Reaction, but Reaction does eat one shot from Dezuzu, who was sitting in the bush. So well played from Dezuzu, well played shot. And despite this, Joker are still going to be down the caps, but not by that much. Only about, I want to say, 55 points. So that's within a kill, I'd say, for reversing that point differential. So now Joker, they need to figure out what play they want to make. And from what I see, I don't think playing for B is going to be very possible, especially with how Blue is positioning his tank. He's going to be kind of driving a bit towards this pocket that can pre-aim the entry into B. And we do see Poffilupi already bleed a shot to, I'm not sure who it was, but it looks like Poffy was trying to inch up towards B and potentially try to grab it, but he does get spotted by Pagman, and he doesn't want to get shot anymore, so he's going to try to back up, and maybe B is now off the menu for Joker after they after they've kind of thought about the setup that Apex has. So Sherman, they know that he's in the TD bush. They know Tezuzu is also in that in the bush to like a little bit behind Sherman. They know Pagman is playing the balcony overlooking the A cap and kind of the B cap area. And I'm not sure if Apex has vision on where Blue is, but Blue is anticipating a play onto the B cap, and Reaction does spot him, which is very good information for Joker. They now know that, okay, B is probably too strong armed to cap. Maybe let's try to make a repush towards the C side, which is exactly what we see with Backpack. But unfortunately, Backpack does get out-positioned a little bit, gets bled out by Market Man, and outsplitted by Asplad, who was able to put a shot of his own into the 116 as well. And we do see Steel trying to inch up a bit towards the C side. And do we see a play onto C by Steel? And we don't. We actually see a counter push onto A by Apex, and I don't know if this is necessarily the right play, because they're only pushing into one single 116 player who has quite a bit of time to just like anchor and buy enough time, and Reaction puts in a very well-placed shot into the light tank. And even though Apex are committing all these tanks, they're not going to go for the kill on player, and Reaction might eat like 1 or 2 shots. Unfortunately, Blue wasn't looking for the shot on Reaction in the light tank, and player is eating quite a lot of shots, but he's going to drop, he's going to be safe, and Blue might be able to pick up the kill on him.
actually. But Blue bounces one shell, and Blue does die. And now Player is going to be safe in that little ditch of his, and Backpack is eating a lot of shells, trying to go for A resets, which I don't think was the correct play. Just conserve your HP. And we see Krish in the Kron is just going to be in a very strong position. Sherman is able to pick up the kill on Player, but he is going to bleed a lot to Krish, and he's going to bleed a lot to Steel. Backpack, if you are Backpack, do not peek that. It is tempting to put shots into Sherman, but do not peek that. Sherman might actually be stuck in his position that he's at. He is stuck, so despite going for the kill on Player, he got himself completely stuck, and now he's going to be a free kill for the VK 90 on the side of Steel, and Steel does eat one shot from the 60 TP, so well-placed shot from Sherman despite being stuck there, and we do see Tazuzu trying to make a bit of counterplay into VCAP, and we see Pac-Man trying to follow his fellow Ponda brother and try to go down into the Joker tank down low, but Steel was just ready for it, and Steel is going to hide now. He's going to be safe. He's going to be able to side scrape and potentially put a reset shell into B, but this is actually kind of scary if you are Apex, because Joker are up 950 points. All they need is just one kill, and there's a lot of low HP tanks, and maybe this is actually scary if you are Joker instead, but Apex have double caps. They're up 950 points, and they don't have a kill lined up, actually. This is going to be a win for Apex somehow. So Apex are going to equalize. This set is going to be 2-2. Well played from Apex. I think the two tanks on C were just a little... I'm not sure if they were like fighting their own brawl on that side, but I feel like they should have just been a bit faster on their on killing their flank. I feel like the mid flank was... The mid flank, like that, the way the brawl evolved, I'm surprised that Player was able to just get out alive, one, and then two, I'm surprised that the TP even dropped down to knowing that he would get stuck against the dead body of the 116. He's like Sherman. He still went down, committed himself for the kill. I thought that was not the best play he could have made, but he also put in one really clutch shot into the VK90 of Steel. Steel should have survived that entire ordeal, but he ate one extra shot from TP, which made him eventually a kill for Tazuzu, and for, I think it was Spanish Sahara in the Kron. So, well played from Apex, just able to equalize despite pushing a lot of tanks into just one guy. So, we're going to see Nube and we're going to see a lot of 116s on the side of Joker, with Reaction in a 60 TP. Reaction, I hope you are running Protective Kit. If you are listening to my stream, please run Protective Kit. You will get ammo racked, alright? Let's remember that one scrim against Oblivion, and Dizzy full HP ammo racked you, and you just died. And then on the other side, we're going to see an interesting tank selection, an AMX M4 MLE. I don't think we've seen this before in this tournament just yet, so... Actually, no, we have seen this. I think Group played it for Oblivion, but anyways, we're gonna be seeing it again, and I think it's a good tank. It's just like in this Clipper meta and this reactive less meta, where no tank except for like Hori and like maybe some others have reactive. I feel like M4 is a bit overshadowed just by other Clipper tanks or just other high alpha fast tanks like say TP, KPZ. But we'll see what they can do, and I have a strong feeling that this is gonna probably become a brawl on the ramps. So Apex and Joker, I have a strong suspicion that are just gonna meet each other on the ramps, and they're gonna try to brawl each other out there. And I do think just the clipping like potential of Joker is going to net them an early kill. But if Apex are able to play their cards right, they are going to be able to bleed out and equalize in terms of HP. And whether they're going to be able to equalize on guns, we'll see. So for now, we see Krish play a bit aggressive down low, try to go for this position at the mid ramp, which is actually a very strong position. He does get good information on Marketman and Pagman as well, and we do see Poffy and Lakami go down low. They do get shots into the 215B of Asplat. Unfortunately, they do not get a track shot, but they did get a very good surprise shootout on to the 215B. And now it looks like the Apex tanks, they're probably anticipating the setup that Joker has. So if I were Joker, I would probably just start playing down low with your 2 tanks on the A side, because if you don't, you're just gonna slowly give up the entire map for Apex, and if Apex just takes the whole map, Joker is just going to be slowly boxed in, and Batpack just does put a good shell into Blue, and we do see Reaction kind of aiming down to town lane, preemptively anticipating for Dezuzu or maybe Sherman to push past. But we do see Joker with the cap advantage. They are going to start sending their 116 Lakami up for a bit more information. He's going to take a bit more map, and they do seem like they've potentially caught out the 215B. The 215B, if there was maybe one more guy on the ramp for Joker, this 215B could potentially be a kill, but I guess he's not from where he's at. So Kami bleeding a little bit more from Market Man. Market Man with well-placed shells onto Kami. He does dump a full clip, and Kami is actually going to be a target now for Apex to potentially repush, and we do see Asled speed boosting down towards the A side going for Kami, and if Joker just sit here, if they continue to just sit here, Kami is going to die. He is going to be a kill. And it's only going to be a matter of time. These other Joker tanks, they need to get their guns into the game. They need to stop with the setup. They need to get their guns in. And Blue does actually throw his tank away. So despite Kami being caught out, Blue just hung his tank of his own. So Joker and Apex trade 1 gun for 1 gun. And now Joker are going to be repushing the ramps after Pac-Man just abandoned the OP wide angle position that he had on the top. And it looks like here, Joker are going to be in the ascendancy. They have the positions now. They just need to consolidate. They need to push now. And it does look like the Joker team are giving Apex a bit of time to reconsolidate with the Smash the Heart with Pac-Man and with Market. And it does look like Krish is going to get counter-pushed through the middle by the double TPs. So this is good counterplay from Apex. So maybe this is not as bad for them as I thought it'd be. And it looks like Krish is going to be very he's going to die very, very soon. He just needs to put in his last 2 shells. Put it into anybody. Can Krish put any of his shells? He doesn't even put a single one of his shells in. And this is looking really, I'd say, kind of bad for Joker, despite the HP lead. Poffy is getting kited by Asplat. And up top, even though the Krons have clipped out, Kakady is going to be the kill target. If Steel is not going to HP share, this is going to be very bad for Kakady. Kakady might fall, but Steel is able to actually put the kill shot into Pac-Man, and now he is blocking for Smash the Heart. So thank God Steel is actually HP sharing for once in his life, but it looks like Sherman is going to pick the kill on Kakady, and he does, and Steel is going to try to face hug the Kronvong, and Smash Sahara in the Kron is going to have a very hard time trying to pen the 116 into face hug, and this is going to be a very close game, 3v3, and it looks like Joker, they do now have the HP lead that they can leverage, but in terms of the position, Sherman in that mid-ramp is going to be a nuisance. Poffy needs to use his HP, try to bait out a shot, try to make sure that his teammates can start making plays, but Poffy goes on the other ramp, and unfortunately Sherman bounces a shot in Backpack, and now this opens up a bit of counterplay for the Joker team. They're just going to bum rush down low. They're going to kill Sherman, and this should be a win for Joker. This is looking very scary, though. I would argue this is a bit of a sloppy game for Joker, just because they hung Kami completely for free. If Blue didn't bail out Joker there, if Blue didn't make the play that he did, Joker would just be down 6v7, and sure, they'd have the positional advantage, but they would just be down on HP because they wouldn't have had a target to bomb like Blue. And it does look like the 3v3 is a bit of a struggle, even for Joker, despite having a significant HP lead. I guess these guys are just a little bit scared of getting shot by these TPs, which makes sense, and TP has a punchy gun, but at the same time, if you have HP, use it. Backpack, you got 1500 HP, you gotta go. Drive, drive, drive. Divide, divide, divide. So I gotta say, a bit of an interesting strategy from Joker, and I have to say, I saw a very similar strategy from Origin. Origin actually played a very similar idea to that strategy in the most recent Blitz Cup on Nube, where they sent a bunch of like 2 guys down low, and then they had a bunch of tanks ready to repush like towards like the mid ramp. But that strat is meant to catch out any tank that goes low ground on the side of Apex, but unfortunately Apex, they all went ramps. They didn't give a kill on the low ground, so I guess the Joker strat didn't really work out as intended, because in the actual game where it was like Origin versus Joker, like I was referring to, Origin were able to isolate, I think it was like Milo, and just got a free kill, like completely free kill. The only reason why we won that game was because we're just so good at brawling and bringing back the HP. So 3-2 lead for Joker. They're running a very diverse lineup. 6 116s and a 113 from Reaction. So let's see if Apex can answer back using their TP Kron lineups that they've been rocking for the entire night. I do think it's interesting seeing like this the clash of lineups, just like 113 or not 113, 116 spam versus like these more diverse like Kron TP lineups. All right. Will Apex force a tiebreak? Will Joker take the set 4-2? This game will decide. Go up high, and we are going to see Joker presumably play for the ramps now. And I think this 113, he's going to play position sitting like here, where he's looking towards the low ground of A. And actually, never mind, he is not going there. I guess he is going to a similar position. And we see Krish go for a similar play that he made last game, and we do see the C base being stepped by Apex. So a very similar strategy, I have to say, from Joker. So they're kind of like mirroring the idea that they had on the other side, and it looks like Market Man could be looking for shots on Kami, but it doesn't look like he's gonna fully commit for it. And it does look like Blue is going to try to bomb Kami. Blue has just high ground on Kami. If Kami is not being aware, he's going to eat a massive clip from Blue, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Kami is going to take a lot of map control for the side of Joker, but if Joker aren't able to capitalize on this, if they're just going to leave him to dry it, Kami being here is eventually just going to be a bit of a liability, I'd say, for Joker, because he's so far up in the Joker team have nothing to cover him, and Blue is going to immediately make a counterplay onto Kami. This is the correct play to be making, and Blue is penning his shots in the face hug, which is so surprising. Blue with the mechanical skill diff against Kami here, and he's going to slowly reload his shells and just go for the kill, and it looks like this is going to be a win for Apex just off of the free kill that Kami is giving to Apex right now. And if you're Joker, you need to make a counterplay onto Market Man as soon as possible, as soon as you can, because as soon as Kami dies, it's going to be just completely over for Joker. And they do look like they perma-track Market Man, so this is actually a really good counterplay from their side, and Kami doesn't even die yet. Blue is looking for the 1v1. He doesn't get the roll. He rolls like 366. What a scam. And now Joker have a massive counter push built up. Krish looks like he wants to go for the kill on Blue, try to keep Kami alive, and that is a good play to be making. But on the other side of things, we see Cackney. He is back in. He's kiting 3 tanks away from the fight. Pac-Man is going to have to waste 1 shell to try to kill Cackney. Does he get the kill? Does Pac-Man get this kill on Cackney? This is such an important kill shot to hit. He's aiming for it. He does hit it. And on the other side, we see that it is 6v5 against, in favor of Joker. And Kami is still alive on 7 HP somehow, and he's gonna go for a bit of an off angle on the far side, try to help Reaction a bit, which is a smart play. And on the other side, we see that Joker are shooting out the town crossing, which is good, but they need Krish to open up an angle on the rear of the Type 5 and the 60 TP, and Krish is going, which is good, but Steel bleeding is so much HP. Puffy, Loopy, and Batpack need to do a better job of getting their HP into the game, and Spanish Sahara and Pac-Man do make quick work of the action, and the Type 5 Heavy is just bouncing shot after shell. He's going to be able to put a massive shell into Backpack potentially. Does he hit the shell? He does not hit the shell. Does DJ hit the shell onto Backpack? DJ does hit the shell into Backpack. And this is actually a very close game for Apex. Apex could very well bring this game back. And it really depends on whether they're able to pick up these kills or not. Pac-Man, using his HP, is just going to drive in. He is trying to look for a shot on Paffy, and Paffy is able to bounce the shot. Very fortunate for him. And now, if you are unfortunately, Smash Sahara fluffs his shot on Kami, and Kami on 7 HP is MVP of this game. He just finessed Blue, he finessed Smash Sahara, and now this is going to absolutely be a win for Joker. As long as they just don't throw these 10-year shots. Backpack puts a full flip into Pac-Man. Steel bounce, or just hitting the ground, unfortunately. And this is a very scuffed win for Joker, but what a game. Kami, I thought Kami was just gonna get boxed by Blue because Blue was somehow penning his shots. Blue is like not well known for his mechanics, but he was penning his shots in the initial face hug against the 116, which is very hard to do in a Kronvong. So, unfortunately, Blue just got scammed on the roll on Kami, and Kami was able to just stay alive, and he finessed, not just Blue, but also Spanish Sahara. Spanish Sahara got, like, kind of clapped at the end. He, like, fluffed a shot on Kami, and then Kami got a very good kill shot on him. So, well played from the Joker guys. I was surprised that they got 3-0 swept by Apex, but they locked in. They brought it back, and let's see. I heard they went to tiebreak against Oblivion as well. So, yeah, they went to tiebreak against Oblivion. I wish I was watching this set. That's a little unfortunate. I wasn't following that. Maybe I should have asked to follow my old team. That would have been fun. But GG's, well played to Joker. So, I hope y'all had, or I'm just gonna quickly do the strat sketch thing. I'm gonna stop streaming on my end, but it's gonna take a bit of time to considering my delay to end the stream. So I'm just gonna yap for a little bit in the meantime. So, what were the games? Rockfield, Naval, Nube, and Fort. Did I cover the Origin games? I feel like I want to cover like all these games before I go, but also it is kind of late for me. I kind of want to sleep a bit early tonight, so if y'all are interested in like a strat sketch analysis of say like the Origin set and the grand final set, just let me know, and I'd be willing to just like upload like a short like live strat sketch analysis of that. But right now I'm a bit beat. I do want to go to sleep, so I'm gonna be ending the stream here. I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's games. There were a bit of, I guess, sus games in this Joker Apex set, I will not lie. I feel like Apex definitely could have forced a tiebreak, for sure, or even just outright won the set. I feel like Joker was not playing to their best. They were hanging tanks left, right, and center. They were making very interesting decisions. And even again, I think they played very good against Origin. They were very strong against Origin. I'm not sure what happened against Apex. Maybe it's just like the playstyle difference between the two teams.